Hey everybody, Drew here for Drew.Underground Gaming. Back here with the first of going to be obviously many Underground Gaming podcast, episode number 1 here on YouTube.com. As you guys see by the thumbnail and everything, we're going to be going through my Xbox One and Series X game collection. And the reason I say Xbox One and Series X is because all of these games you're about to see are playable on your Xbox Series X. And if you own all of these digitally, then they're playable on your Series S, obviously, because that's a digital only system. However, some of these games are, I guess, just playable if you only bought the Series S version, or sorry, Series X version, and you'll know those games when I get to them. So, with that in mind, joining me this fine evening, even though we're starting late, but that's because we had to. Also, plus I woke up just after 8 o'clock anyway here. But joining me is the one and only my younger brother, Desert Nord. Hey, bro. Fuck. As I was saying with the controller turned off the whole time, joining me is my younger brother, Desert Nord. Hey, bro.
Hey there.
And also joining us, the one and only Joshy064 is here tonight, which he will not be here tomorrow for Breaking Rocks. Hey, Josh.
Hello. Good evening.
How are you guys doing this evening? Nord?
I'm doing good.
Josh?
A little tired. I've had a long day. I worked like 8 hours today and went like a little birthday thing. And then had to go take some friends home, and then now I'm here. And I'm doing laundry at the same time.
Fair enough. Two things before we get into the games. One, Enlisted. We're going to be attempting to play that on Twitch at some point together, the three of us. And secondly, there's a poster for Maverick that nobody knows about that the theaters are giving away. Is that right, Joshy?
Yes.
So what's the story with that before we get into my collection of games?
And thank you to Desert Nord again for basically pointing out like what theaters in my area are actually giving out these posters. Like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten these posters. Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
2,000% like appreciation on my end though, but as of now, like I know on Twitter they did have a thing going on which said that basically like starting Friday, August 12th, they were giving away a free poster for purchasing a ticket for Top Gun. And honestly, I've seen the poster, and honestly, the poster is pretty legit and pretty awesome. So basically, it's really, really, really worth your money to get this poster. It is a mini poster, though. Don't get me wrong. It's a small poster, but regardless, though, it is an awesome poster. Like the artwork is just phenomenal. It's like a kiss to the chef. It's just that amazing.
Yeah.
That does remind me about one story of our theater, well, the theater here in my town in southeast Minnesota. I remember going to see a Pokemon movie one time, years and years ago. And when you
Hey, you
buy
mean the original?
yeah, and
Yeah.
and when you bought a ticket, they gave out a Pokemon card of an ancient Mew.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ancient Mew giveaway was pretty interesting. It worked well at first, but then when there was so much overstock of cards, because they had basically printed like, 2.5 million cards for the giveaway, but then they had like more than half of them left over after the movie was no longer in review. So those ended up going on the market and basically completely devaluing the value of the card. To
Yeah.
where even to this day, the card is still not that valuable.
Yeah.
Sad, really.
And I remember back then, I believe I was in high school at the time, and my high school sweetheart at the time, which I won't name her here on YouTube, but her and her friends were so into Pokemon that they would buy ticket after ticket to try and get as many of the card as they could.
Oh yeah. People thought that those were going to be like severely rare and collectible and all that, but they were collectible. Of course, they still are collectible, but they're not rare. They're still not rare. The market's been flooded with those.
To the point that her and her friends were trying to talk me out of mine.
No, I know. I remember all the sort of I got one sort of an attitude people had, but it wasn't hard to get one especially after the movie went out of theaters and the overstock got sold off. It was easy to get one at that point.
Yeah.
And me and you both had one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny.
Yeah. But with that in mind, speaking of games, folks, as Ryan Kennel would say on Geeks and Gamer streams when they were talking about games, which I don't know if they still do that. I haven't seen them doing that in a long time now. Which I do miss those streams because it was fun seeing Ryan, Jeremy, Lethal Lightning, and Mark the Cyborg sitting down to talk about video game related topics, much like, and to be fair, what inspired us to do that, or me to keep doing it rather, was them completely. So shout out to Geeks and Gamers for inspiring, well, at the time, the Drudat Games podcast, now the Gaming Underground podcast, or Underground Gaming podcast here on YouTube. So shout out to Geeks and Gamers for inspiring all of this. But with that in mind, I'm going to start with the small pile here, which is the Xbox One or Xbox/PC exclusive games. And that's the smallest pile here. So, and all of this is going to be in alphabetical order too. So with that in mind, everyone, how many Dead Rising games were there, Nord?
Oh,
I believe like 4, 5, right? Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, 4.
And one of them never went to PlayStation. Do you know which one that was? Yeah. Dead Rising
it was on
3.
Xbox and PlayStation.
No,
initially.
Dead Rising 3 launched on the Xbox One at launch of the console, and I cannot find it on any other console to this day.
Yeah. The original game, Dead Rising, was on both Xbox and PlayStation. But the other titles that came later, one of them was exclusive.
Yeah, and that's this one, Dead Rising 3. It's just on Xbox. I'm honestly not sure if it's on PC or not. This might just be an Xbox One thing.
Yeah, Dead Rising 3 got a Microsoft Windows port. But yeah, it seems like it's...
But it's...
that one
I haven't seen it on Steam, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked at Steam like in months.
Yeah.
But as it is...
And then Dead Rising 4 was also released on Windows and Xbox. Yeah.
And I've played a little of it on Twitch and YouTube, respectively. It's fairly challenging and kind of fun at the same time, but it also obviously looks like it was a launch game for the Xbox One as well,
Yeah,
or it could have
it's the
been,
usual
or could have,
zombie.
yeah, or it looks like it could have also been an end of the generation game for the 360. So its graphics are obviously dated at that point. Joshy, anything you want to add?
Right. This is the first time I'm actually here. Well, actually, like house console gaming role. But
Well, yeah.
honestly, the
What 1 and 2 were across consoles. 4 was. 3, I still have not seen it on PlayStation yet because I went searching for it on the PlayStation storefront before work this morning, so I could do my prep work for this, and it still wasn't there. I'm like, well, apparently this is still an Xbox exclusive. Even though Dead Rising 3, I don't recall getting a port to Series X or anything. But seeing as how every Xbox One game is reverse compatible on the Series X, this thing is playable on the Series X. So, yeah,
the only the only Dead Rising game I actually played, Dead Rising, pretty good. Then I got the Dead Rising 1 for free on Game Pass.
yeah.
Game Pass with games with gold, and then I played it. It wasn't bad.
To this day, Dead Rising 3 is the only one I have, the only one I've ever played of the Dead Rising series myself. But, yeah. Nord, anything else you want to add about Dead Rising?
Well, no, other than to say that it really was a beloved series. It still is, and a lot of people were debating about whether or not it would be a good idea for them to make a Dead Rising 5. Um, but I don't know exactly what's left because at a
Not in
certain
the
point,
current political environment, in my opinion.
yeah. I never trust any of these game developers anymore. But
But
the other problem is that they've already played this series out so much. There's only so much you can do with that plot line, you know. So
Actually, no, no. Honestly, like I'm looking at it right now, we got Dead Rising 4, but they did have a couple other Dead Rising vote. I went with the honestly possibly DLC. I'm guessing maybe the Dead Rising, maybe 2 or 1 different Dead Rising games came after Dead Rising 2. We had Dead Rising 3 and then Dead Rising 4. They might have had more than 4 games. It's possible.
Well, I figured the stream was going to take a while. We're a little over 13 minutes in, and we've only gone through one game. But to be
Yeah.
fair, we were talking about a couple other things beforehand, but still.
I put that 2 get around probably my. I think I have a physical copy somewhere.
But up next, for only Xbox and PC, I think at the time. But this series, obviously, not making its way to PlayStation ever because it is a first-party game from Xbox. However, the series with the most recent installment has obviously gone woke as hell. In my hands right now is Forza Horizon 2 for the Xbox One. Joshy, any thoughts on Forza Horizon 2? What's that?
You were saying it went woke on Force Horizon.
I said the series went woke with 5.
Okay, alright. So Force Horizon. The only thing with the Forza Horizon series, honestly, like when I played it, I only played the demos, and actually the demos were like awesome as awesome. Like yeah, the only thing that like they had like, if you played the demo, you were able to get the car that was on the cover, like the game, the first couple games. honestly, I played the demo for Forza Horizon 2 a long time ago. I played the demo like Village, like I bought like later on, and I couldn't get that far. I was like, I appreciate it. I was sad. I was like, what the heck's going on? Okay, I played that religiously demo. Like basically, you're saying I get the car for free. I played demo, and basically like a year later, I wasn't able to get the car. But yeah, Forza Horizon 2 was awesome still, but my favorite Forza Horizon series was Horizon 3.
Horizon
So,
3 was the
like,
first demo that I ever played on the Xbox One, and it was right around the time that I picked up Horizon 2 used from a used game place. At the time when it was like months into me having an Xbox One in the first place. And shout out to that old launch model of the Xbox One, which Nord has now.
Yep.
Because I sent it to him when I got the One X.
Yep.
But yeah, and that demo led to me eventually buying digitally Forza Horizon 3 when I was on sale at one point. So, on that note, next up, Gears 5 for the Xbox One. And if you download this from Game Pass,
what
you
about
can actually play the next gen version of it.
you have anything?
Fuck. The mic turned off.
Was your remote turned off again?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Anyway, like I was saying, Gears 5, if you download from Game Pass, that's where you can play the Series X/S version of it. Joshy, thoughts on Gears 5?
It's bittersweet. It's basically they kind of honestly like the Gears series went with the Kate narrative though. Honestly, it's a good narrative though, but still it kind of went woke at the same time though. But like the Kate narrative is good, but it's kind of like they like skipped away from the male characters and like focused on the female characters.
Yeah.
Kind of like see that though, but still, it's like it's still a good story. It's not bad of a story though, but also um they canceled the smoking of the characters well too. They're saying people like are in the smoking from the video games. They stopped the characters on Gears of War 5 smoking. Also, like honestly, like the game, like the story is not bad. I give it like a 6 or maybe a 7 out of 10.
I have a
But
problem
the
with removing something from a game because developers or whoever or whatever think that people are too stupid to make an informed decision of that smoking is bad for you. Who gives a shit if it's in the game? People are smart enough creatures to make their own decision of, eh, I'll give it a try once and see what happens. Or, smoking is disgusting, it's horribly bad for you, it'll hurt your fucking lungs, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about smoking in video games.
but yeah, Gears 5, honestly,
It should be wherever it's realistic. But if it's not realistic or it's just added because it's a product placement or some shallow attempt at
Yeah.
making your character seem cool, then yeah, obviously there's no place. You know, people should have the
Yeah.
good sense to know the difference.
but yeah, Gears 1 through 3 with the Epic Games with I took the Lisinski and honestly, like I don't want to say like they didn't give a crap though, but they gave a crap about Gears of War. But like they had smoking regardless though. Like it's like okay, they're smoking, they're smoking. Okay, yes, you get that though. Like as of like new things for Gears 4, Gears 5. Okay, we're gonna get rid of smoking. Like okay, we think that people are gonna smoking from this game, but yeah, it's just a illusion or whatnot there. But still, also one other thing I want to add Gears 5. For microtransactions that they were working out for since like Gears 4, Gears 5, they actually, in my opinion, they actually, what is it? They threw it out of the ballpark and basically made it like very good for the microtransactions. So, 'cause my favorite microtransactions and whatnot though is through Gears 5. It's basically you can either grind your way through the characters and get skins like regardless of that though, but also there's also a way to pay for them. Also like say for the seasons though, if you want like a certain character's like certain skin, you actually had to grind for them and whatnot though for it to get it. But like honestly, like in my opinion, the Gears 5 did a very good job at microtransaction. Basically, every other game was basically like fire garbage and free.
Lord, anything
Yeah.
you want to add about Gears 5?
Also, like one other thing I want to say. So,
Yeah.
Gears
Let
5
Josh
is
finish. Yeah.
basically Gears 5 kind of like got me addicted to it though, because basically yes, their microtransactions was very good. Basically, like yeah, I was able to like buy not buy them. Like I was able to buy them though, but still like I was able to grind for them. Basically, like it was like 100% like either grind or buy 'em. There, that option. So honestly, like my 100% is through microtransactions. It's just like on. It was very addicting. This one too was looking for. Any other game, I'm like, no. Like I've seen microtransactions, I'm staying away. And that's my final thought.
Lord?
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say about the Gears series in general, I mean, I never got around to playing 5. Not a lot of people like it. I mean, obviously, the Gears fans love it, whatever. I
Multiplayer is
have
awesome.
played. I have played the hell out of. I played the hell out of the first one, the second one, and the third one.
Yeah.
And so I am and I've told Joshy all about it. I mean, Josh has heard my, spiel about Gears of War before, and I got real good. I got, I got good at number 2. Even you would admit that, bro. I did the whole thing on insane. I mean, that's not. I mean, we did the whole thing on insane difficulty. That's no easy task. I mean, granted, it's not the hardest game you could ever play on a maximum difficulty, but I would be genuinely impressed with anyone else that could do that.
You hear that comment? You want my younger brother Desert Nord playing Gears 2 with you.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like one little snippet though, like I played with a couple of different guys, like I used friends with. I call them acquaintances right now though, because basically I don't even talk to them anymore though. But like when I played Gears 2 with them, like I was okay, but then all of a sudden like I took like a hiatus time from Gears 2, and all of a sudden like when I went back on Gears 2 and I played with them with different players, I was kicking their butts like no problem. Like I was getting like 50 kills, whatnot though. And some people were like saying, "What is he doing, cheating?" I'm like, "What is it?" The stupid guy like actually dropped a grenade, and I was able to pick up a grenade and throw it at him right there. And they're like, "What is that? Did he like cheat or whatnot though?" Because basically he was thinking that basically I cheated, like on a grenade on my butt. But no, basically like some guy like was trying to kill me, and I got a grenade and killed him right off the bat. So basically, yes. Honestly, I kicked all their butts like within like that after like I played after I was on like a high yeah. As of right now,
you remember I talked about how I struggled on the horde aspect of that game though. I could not get that last little bit of level 50 of horde done, and it bothers me to this day. It was the one thing I hadn't completed in the game. And I was like, damn it, I have to do this.
Gears
Yeah,
2,
Gears.
right?
Yeah, it was Gears 2. Yeah.
Well, honestly, we need to play that like off the stream and whatnot, though. So I can help you out with that, though. I probably got a couple.
Well, it
friends that
doesn't matter
actually play
now
Gears
because
2.
it was on a different profile and all that. So I mean, I kind of moved on from it. But I have it in my
So
mind
sad.
still always because it
Okay.
it'll always be with me that I almost did everything on that game, but not quite.
That's exactly the same case with me and all of the achievements for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion that I had gotten. That was on a different hard drive, different
Yeah,
profile.
and you got lucky on that game too because mine glitched out in like 3 different places. So I would have had to start over, which I never do, and go back through and redo parts. And I was like, I ain't doing that shit. I'm just gonna leave it glitched and let it just play it out.
But on that note, the next game in my collection is Gears of War 4. Because we're still stuck on the Gears franchise, because there's a bunch of games here.
Yeah.
Which I'd
Yes, anyway,
surprise nobody
proceed
that
to the
owns
next-
an Xbox.
Proceed to the next title there, bro.
All right. So yeah, there's Gears of War 4, and right behind it is Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is the remaster of the first game on Xbox One. Lord?
Yeah. What'd you say it was?
Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which was the remaster of the first game.
Oh, well, again, sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a good title also. It's probably integral. If anyone is trying to collect all of the versions that matter, that's definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is me, of course, because I'm a big Gears fan. And I'm a Gears fan.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain the Lancers behind you.
Yeah. A YouTube video.
Yeah.
But, as you were saying,
Shout out to Josh's YouTube channel.
Yep.
But as you were saying, Joshy?
no, Nord was saying about here.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, obviously the remake version is you know, they did a faithful job on that, and it's definitely something people who are fans would want to own, I believe.
But they didn't do a good job with naming it, because the name suggests that Gears Ultimate is the remaster of all 3 games, which it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, naming.
So when it was announced and came out, I was thinking that it was all 3 games, and I started playing it, and I got through the first game, I'm like, wait, that's it? It's just the first game. Well, that's a bunch of shit.
Honestly, like, I did get that. I do have the poster thing on my GameStop. Honestly, they did a good job with it, though. Like, honestly, yeah. This basically, I guess this was Bullish first like attempt at Gears of War, though, and they actually, I'm guessing, possibly, don't get me on this though, if it's Coalition or whatnot though, but the Ultimate Edition was kind of a chef's kiss, honestly though. But honestly, like all the like visuals and everything else, it played it exactly like it was one. Visuals were like updated or whatnot though, but like it's good. But I still prefer the actual Gears like honestly, they did a whole lot to the multiplayer for them to play multiplayer on the Ultimate. Get that though.
Mm-hmm.
When we like plays the Gears 1A. So, honestly, like I prefer Gears 1 though. Honestly, in my opinion though, Gears 2 is my baby. I love Gears.
I think Gears 3 is probably my favorite, but probably tied with it would be 2.
Gears 2 was my first Xbox Live experience. That's where I'm there, and basically I love everything.
I don't remember what my first Xbox game was, or live game was. Because I've played too much shit at this point. Speaking of
Yeah, because
what's that?
I was playing like barely, I was playing like garbage in my first experience online. The guy was like, the guy was cool as hell though. That was like talking. I'm like, yeah, this is my first time actually playing Xbox Live, especially in Gears 2, because basically this is like basically not my norm.
But speaking of the games that are borderlining on hot garbage, depending on who you ask, for the Xbox One, another exclusive, because we're still in the exclusive pile of games here. Halo 5 Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah, by the time they got that far into the string of games, they had really started to fuck things up.
That's the one with the was it the other Spartan going after
Lock.
Bastion, right?
Lock.
Lock, right?
Yeah. Even saying his name makes me sick. But yeah.
People don't talk about very bad marketing on Halo 5.
Yeah, that was the first problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they only had like one mini fight and basically can't even like do anything about it. Like it's basically the stupid cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically what I don't even know if it was Halo 5 or Halo 4, but basically one of the Halos had like the same boss like 5 or 6 times in a row. Or not even in a row, but like you had a basically same boss like 5 or 6 times in the game. Obviously not even though. It was Halo 5. Yeah. It was Halo 5 where basically like don't get me wrong though, but like basically the Halo Infinite, the new one though, basically they just like disregarded every single. I want to say like every single Halo though, but still, it's like basically it's like not even like Halo 5 existed. It's basically like Cortana. The whole story with Cortana, like doing what she did in Halo 5, also like with Halo Infinite, it's like okay. I don't even see spoilers if anybody has any like they Halo Infinite though, but basically literally not really. And basically Cortana kills herself for no reason, I guess. Basically there's a freaking reskin of Cortana with clothes on, which is called the weapon, and basically she goes with Cortana now. So basically you're stuck with a stupid Arab that basically that was like a horribly written character in Infinite. And basically, you got this. Oh, she's a cute redhead though, but like, regardless of it.
Yeah, like we talked about before, just because the chick is like attractive doesn't make it a good story.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, exactly though. Like,
Yeah.
stupid lady that like the weapon. She basically says at the end like, "Oh, I want to make my name up." Basically, like, and she's like, "Go ahead, use it." Basically, honestly, like in our regards, like I played through the hardest difficulty and the easiest difficulty, and basically, she does not say that she's Cortana, but yet she improvises that she is Cortana, though. But like whatever, but still, it's like either way with Infinite though, they basically the only thing difference between the hard ass difficulty and the easy difficulty is just basically dialogues. Basically, like what the hell am I playing this game for like hardest difficulty? Basically, I'm just getting dialogue. Basically, like you play a game. Basically, if you like play the hardest difficulty, you expect like a whole bunch of different stuff changing to the game, right? All of a sudden, the Halo Infinite, the only thing that's different with the like hardest difficulty is just dialogue. basically, like if you play pass on the easiest level, basically you skip the same exact cutscene without dialogue. When you like pass it on the hardest difficulty, you get the same exact cutscene with dialogue. So tell me how lazy is that? 343 is so freaking lazy at that code.
Yep,
Not,
that was
not,
pretty lazy.
not entirely sure why we're talking about Halo Infinite. I don't own a copy of that.
Well, you were talking about Halo 5, and we were talking about how sometimes in the Halo series they really screwed up. And then he was talking about the problems with Halo Infinite.
Yeah, and next up is actually a decent Halo game.
Yeah.
If we can get into this, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
The Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
And to say for people that don't own an Xbox, because they probably are the ones that won't know, Master Chief Collection features Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well, I believe. But also my favorite, which is Halo Reach, as well as Halo 3 ODST.
Everything that you could say that matters.
And then Halo 5.
Yeah.
Which, like I did earlier, I tossed
so
it over
shit that
my shoulder and
matters
it's somewhere across the room.
Yeah, so the shit that matters and the shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All in one.
Speaking of things that matter, if you're into fighting games, next up is Killer Instinct Definitive Edition, which comes with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which I was listening to the soundtrack on my way to work this morning. Because I knew that we were going to be doing this, and I wanted to get into the mood to talk about Xbox games. So, your guys' thoughts on Killer... fuck. So, your guys' thoughts on Killer Instinct.
Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was a long-standing series. Is a long-standing series, very long-standing for a video game series. In fact, it's coming up on its 20th anniversary.
And this Killer Instinct was also a launch title for Xbox One.
Yeah.
In the first place.
So, I mean, obviously, it's got a huge fan base.
Yeah.
And, you could put it amongst the other great fighting games, Tekken and whatnot.
Mortal Kombat. Back when
Mortal
Kombat was better.
Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, the usuals. It deserves to be amongst those names.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, like right now, basically, I did get it. I think it was free when I actually installed it though, but basically, like it evolved and whatnot though, and like as of right now, they do have ROM from here, and they have Arbiter as well too as a playable character.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the character what was it, the creations though, the character customizations are like a little wonky, I guess. I don't say wonky, but like questionable.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. Like, all the characters like seem kind of questionable, like I guess the art style, or whatnot.
But overall, the gameplay
game.
is good.
Yeah, the gameplay is pretty good though. Like, honestly, like, I've played it while I'm installing it as of like right now. Other than that, it's actually pretty good though.
Yep.
And on that note, next up is from the creators of Alan Wake, I believe. We have Quantum Break, which I believe is on Steam as well. Anyone have any thoughts on Quantum Break? I have not really started playing it yet, so
I've seen my nephew play it though, and it looks good though. Honestly, it kind of looks like a Alan Wake like spinoff though. No, honestly, it looks good. Honestly, it's worth a while. It's basically you're gonna be a pro game. Basically, by this game.
yeah.
I like Control, and then like Alan Wake. This is like worth my time.
hmm
I played a little bit though, but I didn't play the whole thing through. But honestly, it was pretty good.
Nord, anything you want to add about this game?
Yeah, I would just say it's a very highly rated game, and it's kind of in the style of other shooters and action games, almost kind of like kind of like the Uncharted series if it were even better in a sense.
I remember at the Xbox One console announcement event that this game was announced for. So that's how old this
Yeah.
game is.
Well, yeah, it was in 2016.
No, I'm talking about 2013 when this game was announced.
Well, I was just saying when it came out. It came out in 2016.
Yeah, it came out 3 years
Yeah.
after it was announced, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it was announced at that terrible as fuck Xbox One announcement event.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Yeah. But the game turned out to be better than the announcement of its system. Well, speaking of games that I think are a little underrated, but not really overrated either, because this is like just an average game, doesn't really do much. Recore for the Xbox.
Yeah.
It's on Game Pass
Yeah.
as well, so yeah. Nord, anything you want to add about Recore before we move on to Xbox One launch title?
Yeah, that game always reminds me of what's it called? Wasteland.
To a point, except for
Yeah. There are certain elements that really remind me of that.
Yeah. the environment probably, but
The
game,
whole robots in the desert kind of thing.
but the gameplay style not so much because Wasteland is
it's
like
all
top
different.
down isometric. This is like third or fourth person view.
Sure. Well, I mean, the point I was making is that it certainly has commonalities, and if you compare the two side by side, you could almost say, well, yeah, obviously. But yeah, in terms of its sort of quality overall, yeah, it was less. It was not as good as Wasteland series.
Yeah. A game that graphically stunning when it came out, because it was a launch title for Xbox One. It looked like a next gen game when it came out, as opposed to Dead Rising 3, which we started with. This game launched side by side with it, and also I don't recall seeing this anywhere else. Rise Son of Rome, which when it was first teased was supposed to be an Xbox 360 Connect game, but since turned into a full console game for Xbox One when it first came out. Anyone have any thoughts on Rise Son of Rome? What was that, Josh? That's fair.
By the way, I didn't mean to say Wasteland. I meant to say Borderland.
Oh,
Sorry, got that too confused in my head. Sorry.
that makes more sense then.
Yeah, I meant Borderland. Don't know why I said Wasteland.
Which we will get
Anyway.
into Borderlands a little later on in the multi-plat
Yeah.
category.
Yeah. Anyway, so you were talking about the
Right.
other one,
Rise Son of Rome.
Rise Son of Rome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was a launch title, like I said, for Xbox One as well.
Yeah, this was very history based, and obviously those games are are always appreciated, and it's a very highly rated game.
Yeah, and yeah, to this day, I think it's been really the only like real Roman game that we've gotten so far.
Well, I mean,
Period.
see, Joshy would tell you about, Assassin's Creed 2, because that counts. And Brotherhood was in the same place, so that counts
You
too.
didn't play as like a Roman soldier.
Right.
In it,
Yeah,
though.
you didn't get to be the
No,
legionary
no.
guy.
Yeah.
Rise was a totally different game besides Assassin's Creed. I'd say.
No, I know. I just meant the setting.
Yeah, but then the ending actually had some pretty damn gruesome killing at the very end of it. Which was kind of like
Yeah.
I was like watching it, and I was like cringing as heck watching these like ending
Realistic
like,
deaths.
ugh.
Yeah.
Honestly, like spoilers for have some people that watched Rise though. Like one of the guys actually like gets put on this like I want to say like pyramid or something like that at the end. Just very
Yeah.
thin and very sharp, and basically he gets like you see his face like cringing like and
As he
then all
gets
of a sudden-
impaled.
Yeah, he gets impaled. Like he goes down, and all of a sudden it like splits him in half. His face, he's like very thin and very sharp. It's just like that is like a horrible death in my opinion. It's like
Yeah, it's roughly similar to being drawn and quartered.
Well, now we know what it takes to actually make Joshy cringe.
Well, dude, if you can watch that and not have any expression or any emotion about it, Jesus, that's fucking cold, man.
well, thank you.
I'm just saying it.
Because
You
I
may
largely
very well be
wasn't
dead at
affected by the ending. Because my reaction effectively was, well, this is kind of gruesome, and that was about it.
Yeah.
However, the next game is my first ever Xbox One game that I ever purchased. Period. It was on clearance at Target at the time. Right around the time that I purchased my first ever Xbox One console. And it's a game I wish the fuck Microsoft hadn't like screwed over the developer, sending them run screaming over to Sony because we're never gonna get another game now. And that's Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. Yeah, beloved classic, almost a cult classic, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played not too much of it though.
I think I played
From
about
what I
2
know,
hours of it so far.
From what I know, it stands the test of time.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's opinion is different, of course, but I mean, I would think that somebody that doesn't think that's a good game might have poor taste.
Well, all of the Wookie McWokes on the internet would probably say it's not a good game, but then again, we've
Yeah,
already
they have
said
poor
enough
taste.
shit about them over the years.
And we can pretty much all just set aside the Wokies as poor taste individuals safely.
And poor thinking ones too.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, who wants to go to ancient Egypt next?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because we're finally getting into the multi-class now.
Yeah.
And up first is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, this one was one of the bigger missteps in the series. Shouldn't have been, though. It really shouldn't have been one of the missteps, but it turned out to be a misstep. You know, not the worst game in the series, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't, because like that would be either Odysseys or Syndicate or Revelations. Like that, those would be like the worst if you ask me. But Origins wasn't that great. It was kind of a miss, just a miss all over.
Yeah. Joshy, anything you want to add about Assassin's Creed Origins?
I tried. It was the Egyptian one, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
From what I played, it basically was woke as hell. Basically, like showing like every single person you talk to is basically female, and basically you're doing errands for freaking female. You can't like lift a freaking freaking like towel and whatnot though. It's basically, and they can't like do anything at all. So basically, they're asking your character to go ahead and get request them to like get figures or whatever they want. I know there's this
Yep.
one bishop where basically there's like this female that basically pearl necklace. Basically, you have like you're getting the pearl necklace. And basically, you have to go into the ocean and basically kill the shark. Say something about like a shark that's like a pearl necklace or something, right? I'm talking about necklace. That basically
Yep.
give it back to the world. That's just garbage. Like basically, it's all female empowerment and whatnot. Though basically, honestly, in my opinion. You have two characters to play as though. You have male and female. Honestly, the male character's voice is so annoying that basically, honestly, in my opinion, they made the male's voice so annoying that basically you had to pick the female character in order to like actually play the game. Basically, who would actually do that though? Like basically make the male character's voice so freaking annoying that basically you have to pick another character. That's basically, in my opinion, like the stupid male character's voice was so freaking annoying. I played the male actor just for it, just because of this character, just because of this crap. Yes, the male actor voice is so annoying that basically like the female actress is like it's not
Sure.
2000% perfect though. It's just like her voice isn't really annoying though, but still it's like bad writing. Either character.
The thing I was going to say is that with that title, the problem there is that historical accuracy completely was overtaken by wokeism. Completely. The only thing that was important to the developer on that title was the woke points of the game.
Are we still
They didn't
talking
give a
about
shit about
Origins,
realism.
or are we talking about Odyssey now?
Oh, well, yeah, we could mention Odyssey too. Odyssey had the same exact problem, only 10 times worse, because they added the trans concept.
Because if you guys want to talk about problems, the next Assassin's Creed game will give you a fucking headache at launch.
Yeah, they had an adventure in wokeism in that series and ran absolutely wild over the corpse of what was a good game series, you know, with it.
Hey, Red Hood, you kind of stopped playing AC series after Black Flag. That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. In fact, that's exactly where the hell I stopped too.
I kept going because at least there's
Yeah.
one good one, a decent one, in my opinion, and that's the Assassin's Creed game after the next one we're going to get to when Josh and
I
Nord
was
are
just
done ranting
basically,
about
I was just
whatever they're
basically
ranting
hacked
about.
off. I was hacked off at how number 3 was. Because I know what they were trying to do with number 3, and it was basically a middle finger to the American audience. Like, in case you thought you could play this game and still remain an American who respected yourself or your country, you thought wrong. Because we were here to shit on your face and tell you you were an asshole. That's what the Assassin's development crew basically did at that point. And everything after that was just one more dump on your face, another dump and another dump, and more dumping, and then some more dumping, just down the line. Like, if you liked getting dumped on your face, then this was the series for you after a certain point.
We will eventually get to Black Flag. I assure you, Red Hood, that's going to be in the digital game side of things. Once I get through all of these fucking physical games here.
A lot of people, by the way, about Black Flag, if I may.
Yeah.
The thing about Black Flag that made it so good was that it was a really beautiful concept for a game. The fact that it had to be shoehorned into an Assassin's Creed story is kind of totally beside the point. Because the greatest parts of that game was the historical meeting Blackbeard, meeting Benjamin Hornigold, meeting Calico Jack, meeting all these characters that were real people, you know, Mary Reed and so on and so forth. All the people you meet in the game, and the historical places, and the fact they were done so well, and the fact that the story is compelling. Just they did everything right. Whether it was a good Assassin's Creed title is sort of irrelevant. It's just a good pirate game, you know.
Yeah, it is.
And that's it's one of the strengths and weaknesses of that game.
And a fun fact: it was so good of a pirate game that inspired Ubisoft to start working on Skull and Bones, which still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, because they got it in their head that these games are lucrative. So
yeah,
which Skull and Bones is actually has a pre-order date, and it's supposed to be has a release date yet, but yet they don't have any video or whatnot before it.
Yeah,
basically you're going off of it's basically like screenshots from like 20 years ago for this game. So basically they're basically doing the stupid what is it? The Stargate thing.
That was 4 years ago that it was announced. Or was it 5? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It was 4 or 5 years ago at E3.
Either way, I think that Black Flag is 2,000,000% better than any of the Assassin's Creed that's been put out now.
Oh yeah, you'd be right.
So honestly, I love the Assassin's Creed where they actually have the background for like all the historic elements or whatnot. Like as of like right now with Assassin's Creed, oh here, fight this person, that's it. And basically, they don't even have like basically any historic like, documentation like how basically the first Assassin's Creed was. It's like honestly, the Assassin's Creed was like built off of the like historic monuments of Assassin's Creed. All of a sudden they seem woke as hell. Like, okay, put out this game. It's just like
the great irony. If you ever played to like the very end of the game and you got to see that like the production stuff, the background, sort of like inside jokes the developers made about it. There's one like production reel about the first Assassin's Creed game. And the developer decided to make some like comedic reel about it, how they were going to scrap it because they didn't think it would be a successful project or whatever, which is complete bullshit. Because it was one of the most successful games of all time. But they had this like comedic production reel about it, and talking about how Altair his name is Ibn La Ahad. And how he was not a compelling character, that nobody would, really believe in it or anything like that, sort of after the fact. And it's really semi-comedic, but they basically were sort of making jokes about themselves at that point, and you knew basically that this game series was resting on its laurels at that point. Like they were not basically doing anything besides phoning it in after Black Flag, and they knew it. So,
I'm glad you used the term of phone it in because the next game felt like they phoned it in. But before I get to this game, in the chat, Red Hood says, wish there was a pirate game that was like GTA or Red Dead Redemption. In my opinion, if it's like GTA 5 and has 3 protagonists, count me out.
I wouldn't mind a pirate game where it's literally just like Assassin's Creed Black Flag without the Assassin's Creed part of it.
But if it's like GTA 5 with like you play as one pirate, male or female, whichever one you prefer, then obviously I'm in.
Is that or get the bird or fish pronouns, right? Whatever they have nowadays.
Are you saying you want to play a pirate game as a fish? Well, I don't mind catching you and roasting you then.
I want to play a fish. I want to play a pirate as a toy, like this one ship around.
Let me just say, the intro trailer to me. Okay, the intro trailer of Black Flag was one of the greatest video game things I've ever seen in my life, if I may say so.
Then
I want to say the best one. I want to say the best one I've seen was the April 1st one, where basically people jump off the couch and like, okay, I'm jumping into a bale of hay and jump on the freaking table.
with what you said earlier, Joshy,
Yeah.
then I'll just buy you a toy pirate ship so you can play with it in the bathtub.
Okay, and have
But-
you watch?
No, no. That would be to keep you off of Twitter and out of fucking trouble. Because
I'm kidding.
because you on Twitter is like a little kid. But speaking of kids developing games, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
Which a fun fact about this, I think we're going to be playing with this with Calman at some point, right?
I just have to install it though. 'Cause, like basically, the only time I was able to play it was like when it first came out, and it was just horrible when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glitches were completely game breaking.
I mean, like an open world pirate with, I mean like an open world pirate with elements of GTA, Red Dead, and Black Flag mixed in. That's fair.
Yeah,
Red Hood.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Sea of Thieves, basically.
Basically, Sea of Thieves.
Except for not online and having a single player element to it. I think that's what
Yeah.
Red Hood is talking about. So essentially,
So basically, if you get drawn like Sea of Thieves, and basically,
so
like,
I
they-
picture Skyrim of a pirate game without the glitches. Essentially.
Yeah, it's so hard to say.
It's not there because Bethesda's known for it.
But speaking of glitches, Assassin's
no,
Creed
no.
Unity.
Yep.
Don't like the cartoony art style of Sea of Thieves. That's fair. But Assassin's Creed Unity. And then we got to get to the last Assassin's Creed game that I have physically here. So, Unity. Does anyone want to say anything? Or should we just pretend it doesn't exist?
Yeah, let's do that. And we play for like at least a half hour or 2 hours.
Now, I'm probably going to
Like,
catch
like,
some hate for saying this, but this last Assassin's Creed game that I have physically is probably my second favorite Assassin's Creed game behind Black Flag, and that's Valhalla.
we play for hours.
Which, a fun fact, this is also for the Series X as well. So this is one of the series. This is one of the ones that works on both systems.
I've heard Valhalla is pretty damn good.
But
from like what I've
although to be fair, everything here is playable on the Series X. But I digress.
Yeah, like one thing I want to say about Unity, just if I may,
Yeah.
the turn away from Black Flag, the turn after Black, which is what this was, that became right after Black Flag. That is where they started turning the wrong direction and throwing it in. And so a lot of us would like to forget that game, yes. It's not the worst, but it's far from the best Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
It's forgettable.
Yeah. So Valhalla, Lord.
Yeah, this was sort of a resurgence game. This was a game that basically brought us back from the Odyssey brink of complete destruction of the series.
Yeah. And they took like a couple of years off to do Valhalla too.
Uh-huh.
And they've also taken an even longer break since.
While they are still in Odyssey, still in Valhalla, they're still trying to score some woke points, obviously. But they're not completely destroying the game in the name of woke.
Yeah.
They're not completely decimating any value.
It's not slapping you across the face. It's like, hey, here's a fun, great game for you to play, streaming, whatever. Oh, and then there's this thing over here about whatever.
There's some woke elements, but it's not
Yeah.
ruined by wokeness like other titles in the series.
So don't beat us to it, Red Hood. We'll get the Syndicate in the digital game section.
Yeah.
Because I have a shit ton of digital games too. But Joshy, any thoughts on Valhalla or no, or should we move on to the next game and move on from AC for a little while?
From what I played from the Roman one, the Roman one was very woke and very grindy. By the time I got to like the ship part, I was able to see like how grindy it was. Because basically, once I opened the ship, I was able to open up the whole world and how grindy everything was. Basically, honestly, I got that game from like the red box for a day, and within a day, like I saw like how grindy it was and whatnot. And I'm like, screw this. I'm like,
Yeah.
any of the new Assassin's Creed, I don't think find them Assassin's Creed at all. Basically, my Assassin's Creeds are the older ones where basically they actually acknowledge all the history and everything, and they put every single bit of detail of all the history into the game. Unlike all these new ones, all the new ones are basically just grind as hell, just whatever, dude. It's basically older ones are basically all like historic, like representative and whatnot. The
When
new
it,
ones like fake. They do like everything like 100% like accurate to like everything. Like as for the new one, it's just basically grinding as hell and basically doesn't tell you like anything about. Honestly, like I haven't really played it though. So they like from what I think.
when it comes to gaming, Red Hood, I usually notice a lot more than I do in day to day life. So yes, I did notice that you really liked the Assassin's Creed series at the time. I already figured that out by now. But a series that I really like, and that it saddens me that the studio that makes this, I don't think is a thing anymore, unless they are, and I'm mistaken, and they came back or something. But Batman: Enemy Within, a Telltale series, is up next.
Never played it.
Uh, in my playthrough, everyone's journey can be different with this game, based on the decisions that you make playing as Batman in it. For example, in mine, I got Batman frozen in a fucking thing, and then the next episode, you had to sit and wait till the next episode came out to find out if Batman survived. And 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 also my playthrough, I had him entering into a relationship with Catwoman. So
Which is to be expected.
yeah. So since Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle were in love, and Bruce Wayne got frozen, I'm like, well, shit, this is heartbreaking. Is Bruce Wayne dead? And what's going to happen to Selena now? You know, it's one of those games that you need to play on stream, in my opinion. And this was before I was really streaming games when I played this. So hell, I think it was even before I was even on Twitch in the first place, honestly. But
Yeah.
I
I
think
can't say enough good things about Telltale games, which we're not done with them because we will be getting
oh,
to them like in quite a while from now for the Walking Dead games.
I got something to say.
Yeah.
As of right now, since I'm trying to install the Killer Instinct game and enlistment in time, Killer Instinct actually put me at 72 managed queues.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm installing. enlisted, which you got like at least 10 gigs left, but the killer instinct, and I'm not gonna name anything else though, but like still, I got like I'm not gonna even count. I got a ton of stuff that's going on with I got like gold people as well too. I got Outer Idol, yada yada. Go back one rash, yada 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 yada. Still, everything was different. I don't know, like I purchased them or what happened though, but I got 72 things called from Killer Instinct.
Wow. Guess we can say that, shit happens.
Yeah. On that note, a game that means nothing to me at this point. It's one of those cross-gen Xbox One Series X games, WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Enough said, the better. Moving on.
yeah, that game was such a fail. Such a hilarious fail.
Yeah,
too.
it came out literally right after the classic failure of 2K20 for WWE 2K. And it's one of those cartoony, like, big head, fucking bullshit mobile type of wrestling games. But it's for console.
Yeah.
Microtransactions coming out your ass in a paid fucking game, which you guys know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
And it's just a pile of shit. It functions like better than anything they've ever made, but it's a pile of shit because there's nothing good there. And
Sure.
And speaking of things that are average at best, up next is Battlefield Hardlines.
Oh god.
Battlefield Hardline.
People hated Hardline.
That's why I threw it across the room just now.
That is basically like a freaking soap opera from the Top series that's on TV.
Yeah.
No offense, but like it's basically like CSI Miami, in my opinion, though. Because honestly, I paid for that. I believe I paid for that though, but like I played through like half of it and I just couldn't finish it. Then basically, it was like I was watching like CSI Miami. It was just that garbage though. It's just all right, whatever.
Sure, it was the same exact problem they had with number 3. And then they made it worse by going back to Battlefield 1.
In my opinion, if you want a better Battlefield Hardlines or watch a decent episode of Cops, just go visit Chicago.
Yeah, I mean it's really just an out of place title. Though again, this is another one a lot of us would like to forget ever existed.
However, here's a game for Xbox One /Series X that a lot of people don't really care for, but I think it's a little bit underrated of a game, even though it doesn't really do much to move the needle. But still, this game gets hate, and I'm like, this isn't a very bad game. But then again, if you're a furry like Lyndon Hall, you should love this game. It's Biomutant.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on Biomutant?
Don't play it. No, I don't give a crap.
Nord?
Yeah, it's again acquired taste to say the least.
Fair enough. We're going to move on here because there's still a shit ton of games physically to get through, and that's even before we get to the hundreds of digital ones. So I figured this stream was going to take like at least 3 hours, which is going to be the longest stream on YouTube that I think I've ever done at that point then.
Pretty close.
I got pizza in 37 minutes. 27 or 30 minutes, 7 minutes. So, yeah.
Okay, so up next, we're getting to Borderlands, boys. Borderlands 3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not the best title in the series.
Yep.
Bittersweet. Bittersweet about that.
Mm-hmm.
Great gameplay. But the story was jack shit. Basically, they made it woke as hell.
Yep.
Gameplay and the DLC. No, I don't want to say the DLC. Basically, some of the DLC shows Hammerlock and one of the weapon dealers are like getting married and whatnot. Basically, honestly, my favorite Borderlands series, Borderlands 2. That's basically like the extended. Borderlands 3 was a great game, like for shooting wise and whatnot though, but the story wise was just garbage. My opinion.
Hmm.
I love the gameplay and whatnot though for Borderlands 3, but it's just that the storyline was just garbage. They went like woke as hell on this shit.
That game
Basically,
went
I'm not.
really far. Anyway,
Don't
so,
get me.
sorry.
Don't get me started on freaking 2018's Wonderland. Freaking game that. Okay. Or not, if you're not gonna add that game to the list, then I'm just gonna.
So, Nord, any Borderlands 3 thoughts before we get to the other Borderlands game I have physically for Xbox One?
Only that it was not the best game in the series, and frankly, that's really where they started to go wrong with that series. Um,
Yeah.
I maybe more than started, they were definitely going wrong at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So up next is Borderlands: The Handsome Jack Collection, which is the prequel and Borderlands 2. Which Borderlands 2 I think is my favorite Borderlands game.
Borderlands 2, my favorite Borderlands game. It's just that the Handsome Jack collection though is way better than actually purchasing Borderlands 3. Like, even though what is the one on the Borderlands that I saw on the things like average though. So but I never played the Handsome Jack collection other than the Borderlands.
Mm-hmm. Nord, any thoughts on the Handsome Jack Collection?
No, nothing really. I mean, I guess it's sort of a niche game. But I guess some people like it. I didn't really get around to playing much or seeing much of that one.
Well, keep in mind that it's the prequel as well as Borderlands 2 that make it up.
Yeah,
And I know you've played Borderlands 2.
yeah. I would definitely only speak positively of those two games.
Yeah, because yeah, yeah, Handsome Jack before he on. Oh, honestly though, I think that the writing was kind of bad on the back version. Uh, Honestly, I think Borderlands 2 was the least like 95.
Yeah. So on that note, an Xbox One Series X game, which I think probably got like mixed reviews, I guess would be fair to say. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Nord, you have a long history with Call of Duty. You were there.
Yeah,
You were
Cold
there at the
War.
very fucking beginning.
Cold War is an interesting one. Uh, Very intriguing, actually, the way they went about it.
Hmm.
I like the historical references quite a bit in that one, but as usual with most of the modern, more recent Call of Duty titles, they're designed by a bunch of people who don't even know what the hell they're doing in terms of, you know, gun gunplay and gun design, and they're basically just influenced by Fortnite at this point. And yeah, it's a shame what the series has become because there has always been enough fodder in terms of plot for them to keep going and making good titles, but they keep getting in their own way in regards to doing things wrong.
Yeah. Like selling a blue dot for like $20.
Yeah, well, that's one small problem, yes. But the skins on guns, the fact that you can bullpup anything. There's so much wrong with that. I mean, if you're a guy who likes historical realism, or you like guns to actually function the way they should in a game, or like to have reverence for the original style of a weapon, or historical accuracy whatsoever, especially in the most recent titles with always trying to jam diverse characters into a storyline that you know damn well would never have had diverse characters.
Yeah.
That's
Joshi,
that's been one of the problems.
yeah. Joshi, anything you want to add about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War?
I've really played for so I'm most likely an Infinity War type. Of,
Well, funny you should mention that, because up next is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So
Yeah, where they went basically like Halo in terms of
well, I
gameplay.
saw at the time people reacting to the trailer were like, "Oh, great! It's Mass Effect of a Call of Duty game with
Yeah, like Mass Effect plus Halo meets Call of Duty.
without any of the Mass Effect."
Uh-huh.
So Infinite Warfare is what Mass Effect would be like without biotics or storytelling.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. Joshi, any thoughts on this Call of Duty?
you know,
What's that?
the only Call of Duty that exists to me is Modern Warfare 2. So basically, the new Call of Duty is Modern Warfare 2. That's going to be it, and my only Call of Duty.
The only ones that exist to me are 1, 2, and 3, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, and World at War.
Yeah, I would say positive things about Black Ops also.
Yeah. Black Ops 1 and 2, yeah. I guess that's fair as well.
I never played them, and I never played their song either.
Because I also have Black Ops 1 and 2 for the 360 as well.
Yeah.
But on that note, a franchise that Nord and I know from playing Revolution is Civilization 6 by Sid Meier.
It is a long-standing series. It's definitely its own flavor. There are other games just like it. Basically, there's a lot of different like world building, like histrionic, strategy, turn-based strategy games that are just like it. But it does have its own particular flavor. And Civilization 6, for specific, discussion, I don't think it was an improvement overall. I kind of just feel like it was another one in the series, not really breaking any new ground at all. At least to me, anyway.
Red Hood in the chat, Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 for me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Joshi, any thoughts on Civilization 6?
Never played it.
So nope. But here's a game that I became aware of because of Midnight's Edge on YouTube. So shout out to Midnight's Edge when Tom Connors Jr. was talking about it on Friday Night Tights briefly at the time, and that's for the Xbox One and Series X. Cobra Kai: The Karate Kid saga continues.
Yep.
Yes.
Cobra Kai got a game.
Yeah, because the show was so bloody excellent.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, they did such a great job with the show, it got its own game.
Any thoughts on Cobra Kai, the video game? Nord?
It's a really, nice, comforting chapter in the long-running Karate Kid series.
Mm-hmm.
And but in terms of a video game, obviously it's just like a show. So, I mean, if you like the show, you like the game.
Except for this is arcade At first, I thought you had fallen asleep already, Joshy.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm still.
Well, it sounded like you were starting to snore again. But
Yeah, well, no.
in terms of Cobra
I got
Kai
Pop John's coming.
gameplay, it's a side scroller beat 'em up
Yeah.
in the vein of Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Double Dragon wants to be good.
Yeah, well, it's a fair comparison because this is also just as good as Double Dragon. But next up, from 505 Games and Remedy, whom now work with Sony, so I'm pretty sure we're not getting a Control 2 then. It's obviously Control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very highly promoted game.
And slightly
Thoroughly
underrated.
promoted.
And, well,
Yeah.
not underrated, slightly underwhelming game too.
Yeah.
So a little bit
You might
overrated,
say
I'd
over.
say.
Yeah, you might say overrated.
Yeah. It's the same thing. I just started saying the wrong version.
Yeah, I mean, with how much promotional stuff I've seen for Control, you'd think it was like top 10 game of the decade or something.
Yeah.
But it isn't.
Josh, any thoughts on Control?
I've only played the little bit of it so far. It's pretty good. But I believe that's the part where she's only able to put the picture gun. So basically, I honestly don't know what's going on after that though. But so far, Control being exactly what she
Yeah. So on that note, up next, I like this thing. The internet probably still hates it, but it's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But can we say that we haven't already said about that one?
Which is why we're just going to move on. Because we've already said
Let's
like
move on.
5 years worth of content on YouTube about it since launch
Yeah,
at this
we
point.
have gone over this game like front to back, top to bottom,
No comment.
through and through.
Yeah.
No comment.
So up next, this is the physical copy of it, but the base game is free to play. We got Destiny 2, and this is the Forsaken expansion.
Just trying to get more people to buy the deals. Honestly, I just dropped off this. The CPU honestly is ridiculous though, but like honestly, like when I bought Destiny 2 like a long time ago, I'm not like as of right now, I'm not able to play any of the Destiny 2 like original stuff that came out
Yeah, because they locked it all off.
20 years later.
Because they want you to play the new shit.
Yeah, they want it's just garbage stuff. It's basically
Yeah.
they always want you to play the new garbage stuff. Basically, they block off every single content that basically like was like from the original content. Basically, want you like play anything new content. Garbage like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong. Still, it's just garbage.
Yeah. Nord?
Yeah, can't disagree with that assessment.
Yep. So should we move to the next game now?
Sure, might as well.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Inquisition. Xbox One.
Yeah,
I've played through this like twice now, I think.
I often wondered which one was better, the original or the Inquisition.
I personally, for me, I say Origins.
Because again, I will be the first person to admit, if Joshua did beat me to it, that I had never played that one. But I've seen a lot of it. For someone that hasn't played it, I've seen quite a lot of that gameplay of that game.
Yeah.
Actually, both of them.
I don't have
But,
a lot of faith in the upcoming next Dragon Age game because we've covered a couple of times like
Yeah.
The studio director leaving, high people at BioWare leaving like hell, leaving like any future projects like the next Mass Effect, the next Dragon Age, and anything they are working on in fucking limbo over there at EA. So who the fuck knows
Yeah, no,
what if anything's going to happen with any future projects from BioWare?
it really severely looks like any move they make now with Dragon Age is going to be a downward spiral.
Yeah, indeed.
They don't have anywhere to go but down with that series.
Joshy, anything to add about BioWare, Dragon Age, or anything in between before we move on to a Bethesda published game? All right, Nord, we're moving on to our favorite. What's that?
But give me a minute. I gotta put my clothes back up to my clothes.
I think he was saying he's going to put his clothes in the dryer, but the way it cut out, that he has to go get dressed.
He's going to go jump in the dryer.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out. If you're still going after X-Wing stream ends, I'll return. If not, hope you all have a good night. Thank you so much, Red Hood, for being here. We appreciate you very much.
Yep. Very much.
And enjoy X-Wing's stream. But on that note, while Josh is away, we'll get through yours and mine, our favorite publisher, Bethesda, Arcane Studios, Dishonored 2.
Yeah, this is an interesting title series. Hard to even really describe. I mean, other than to say that it's like one of those mainline, first-person character type. I guess you could call it an action game. And not a bad series, all told, but it seemed like another one where certain things were done wrong. Yeah, but not everything. Not to where you would say it was either one was a bad game.
The writing is decent.
Yeah. The writing's good. And some of the gameplay is really, was unlike anything else.
And on that note, also the follow-up is next, which is Death of the Outsider.
Oh, yeah.
From the Dishonored series, which I guess probably was a DLC, but then I guess they turned into a full game. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that was initially just a DLC.
Then they turned it into a full game by itself. But speaking of a full game published by Bethesda, made by ZeniMax Online, you know exactly where I'm going, Nord.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online, specifically the Blackwood expansion here, physically.
Yep, which I'm currently in right now, actually.
Nice. So, I don't think there's anything that we can say about Elder Scrolls Online that we haven't already said or done at this point.
Well, let me just say, for Elder Scrolls fans, the whole gist of Blackwood is to get to face down Mehrunes Dagon one more time. This time, by what you hoped would have happened in Oblivion, you get to actually do in Blackwood.
I didn't even want to face him down in the first place. I just wanted to go do other shit.
The ending of Oblivion is actually a really cool ending. But you're not the hero. Martin Septim is the hero.
Yeah, which makes it seem a little sour at times.
And Akatosh being the real hero.
Which is the god of fucking everything, essentially.
The god of time.
Yeah.
But you get to actually be the guy that really helps take down Mehrunes Dagon in Blackwood. So it's kind of refreshing if you're into that kind of thing. So it was a good chapter and a good addition, honestly. And a real throwback for a lot of people that remember Oblivion and hell, for some of us, that was our first experience with Elder Scrolls, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a positive addition. It's not really everybody's cup of tea, and ESO in general isn't everybody's cup of tea. But I kind of think that if you're going to say you're a big fan of Elder Scrolls and you haven't really played through ESO, you really should give it a shot because, okay, granted, the gameplay is challenging. The PvP sucks. A lot of people hate the PvP, player versus player. And things can get really challenging really quick depending on what you're trying to do. And certain things it's a get good game. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time to really get through everything. And not everything is explained to you. It doesn't hold your hand that much. And it's a game you can play for a really long time and never really get done with everything.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing. But for Elder Scrolls fans who like the plot aspect of Elder Scrolls, if you're really into the lore and the plot aspect, then there's a lot of things you should love about the ESO. So that's what I'll say about that.
Indeed. And up next, we have Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion, but specifically Monster Hunter World. I have not played much of this yet.
I haven't really played much of it either.
Yeah.
I know it was a very highly promoted game. And there's a lot of people that like it.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't poorly rated.
Right. Where's Joshua? We're back already because I'm pretty sure he's played this more than us.
Well, we can always circle back.
Yeah, if need be. As it is. Hey, Raz.
Dude,
How's it going?
Game's making a streaming comeback.
We are currently live on YouTube right now. Yes.
Yep.
What's up? What's that?
Evolve?
Evolve is coming back.
Making a stable comeback. Everyone's all playing it again.
Okay.
The servers are back on.
Well, that's interesting, but also irrelevant to us at the moment.
Oh. Has you ever played Evolve?
No. And secondly, we're currently on a live stream on YouTube going through my Xbox game collection. So.
Don't have Evolve.
But either way.
I want to know how they do that.
But either way, welcome to my YouTube channel, Raz. It's fun to have you on.
Could it be on?
So up next from my Xbox One game collection is NASCAR Heat 4.
Yep.
I'm not a big NASCAR fan, especially when it comes to console games.
Yeah, we were more NASCAR fans like 10 years ago. Maybe
there was
more.
a time when it was sort of very all the rage, but it died in interest very quickly.
Yeah, to say the least. Otherwise,
there's only a few good middle titles in like the mid 2000s that were good. Everything after that is just unnecessary.
Yeah. Otherwise, up next for Xbox One / Series X is Nier Replicant.
Yeah, never played it.
I have for the PS4 the previous game, Nier something or another. I can't remember the name of it right now, but that's a pretty fun thing. Nord?
Yeah, it was definitely a highly rated title.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, if you look at what game critics and Games Radar said about this game back at E3 2015, Up next, we have Fallout 4.
Yeah. That's definitely better than 76, as we all know.
Just about anything is better than 76.
Fallout 4 is when I first played the genre.
What were your thoughts going into Fallout 4 then, Raz?
I got a dog.
What happened?
We're talking about Fallout 4, and Raz was so kind to jump in and join us.
I read.
Yeah.
So giggles.
I'm glad you're back, Joshy. While you were gone, we were talking about Monster Hunter World. Have you played that?
Just
Is that
like
yeah?
10 minutes with them. That's about it.
Yeah, you played that with me.
No, I only played the April episode. I don't think I played it with
You
though, right?
hunted monsters with me.
Oh, yeah. I did. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I realized
The
that.
old
Second
man
or
can't
third.
remember anything.
Well, it must not have
I
been
was
that
like, I
memorable.
remember playing that with him. He kept commenting about having that cat. He's like, I should name it my sister. It's a-
Oh, jeez.
I remember when I started playing Monster Hunter World for the first time. I'm only like an hour in or two, give or take. But I named like the little cat thing after our dead cat Harpo.
Yeah.
And in the opening,
Poor Harpo.
and in the opening of the game, the ship falls apart. Harpo falls down into the flames. I'm like, well, this is crap. My dead cat just died again.
Jesus. That's so good.
But then I get to the island and there's someone waiting for me at the bar and it's Harpo. He's drinking. I'm like, well, that's fitting. That's something he would do if he were still here. He'd be at the bar having catnip and I'm looking for him.
Jesus. Oh.
Because Nord, you know damn well that's what Harpo would be doing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care that Drew or Nord are looking for me. I'm going to go have catnip. Little bastard was always trying to get out of the house, too. Anyway.
Uh-huh.
But on that note, back to Fallout 4, which is what we were talking about in the first place here. You were talking about how you were excited to have a dog, Raz.
Yeah, for my first experience, I was so excited to have a dog when he first ran up to me. And I was like, it's a German Shepherd!
Joshi, have you played Fallout 4?
And then I proceeded to
beginning,
do like
man.
almost all the stereotype stuff in the game that you saw the dog doing like game trailers and everything. Or like shooting something and the dog was like tearing like what was it during that? It wasn't Scourge, right? It was somebody else. Something else.
I don't remember.
The common enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like tearing off one of their arms, and I was like in the mech suit, like cutting someone off, like cutting someone in half with a machete.
Yeah. So Joshi, you were saying?
No, I just played until like basically I was able to like go outside of the bunker and then basically go to like a certain level, and then I killed a whole bunch of people in there. Couple of them also like basically people were trying to kill me, so I basically ran out of their home to like a certain area, then all of a sudden I jumped back into their certain home, and then basically they were still trying to kill me. I said, screw this game and never played it again.
Yeah, you're just like garbage.
So basically just like Twitter.
Yeah.
For you.
Well, I haven't quit Twitter yet, so there's that.
Uh-huh. But every time you go in there, it's garbage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So Nord, have you played Fallout 4 since I sent it to you?
Oh yeah, only the beginning parts, not a whole lot into it. not as far as
So,
like, a lot of other people.
what's the beginning parts? How far into the beginning did you get?
Just past the tutorial, basically.
So you're still frozen in Vault 111.
Yeah, I didn't got very far at all.
Okay, so
And that's not because I didn't try. Well, I mean, it's not because I, had trouble with it. I just haven't spent much time playing the game.
so Nord is forever frozen. Got it.
Yeah.
He's frozen in the birthday state.
Yeah.
He's frozen in Boston while Geeks and Gamers are meeting up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of open world games, next up we have Far Cry 5.
Oh yeah.
That's the American one, right?
Yes, that's in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to know.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember a moment in the game that, and I wasn't playing it on stream, that I saw. I'm like, I gotta start streaming games here. So it was actually Far Cry 5 that got me to like start playing games on stream more and more, because there was a glitch in the game that I saw. I'm like, well, this is funny shit, and I wish I was streaming to say this joke. Which the situation was, one of the cultists was dragging like a female NPC, and he was trying to drag her through a tree. He was on the other side of the tree. She was on the other side. Her leg was going through the tree. And I wish I'd been streaming it because of the joke that I came up with. And I simply went, he's trying to force her to become a tree hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was that moment, among others, like in Fallout 4 and Skyrim over the years, that I was like, I got to start doing this shit on stream. Because some of the shit's actually funny that I say. But yeah, anyone have any thoughts on Far Cry 5?
Far Cry 5 was pretty good, like when it first came out, though. It's just that, like I passed the campaign and whatnot, though. Like, I went to, like, one story version, though, or whatnot, though, and also, like now, like, they're saying, like, oh, download Far Cry 5 or whatever, no. So, say, like, 50 months later, I don't want to say, like, how many months later, because I forget, though, but, like, from, like, when I actually, like, played from the when it first came out to, like, now, like, when I played it, like, recently, not too recently, though, but, like, it's recent, though, enough, though, but, like, I got, like, video footage on my Xbox that shows that basically the game is fucking broken, though. Basically, like, every single thing, like, you, like, try to go, like, certain areas it's broken, you try to shoot people, it's broken. It's just, like, the whole freaking game is broken. Like, from, like, when it first came out, it was actually, like, very good and very awesome. Like, as it's fucking right now, like, basically the game is broken and it's not playable. Like, I got, like, 4 or 5 instances of, like, within, like, seconds of, like, how this game is broken. Like, I was, like, I don't know, I was, like, shooting a person or whatnot, that would also, like, glitched through the map and then died through the map or stuff like that. I don't know. Like, it was like 5, 6, 7 different things that like happened with the thing.
Yeah.
I'll be like a good fan of the profile.
So Raz, you were going to say something about Far Cry 5?
Never played it.
Okay. Lord?
Good. We'll play it.
Yeah, from what I'd seen, I mean, obviously it was kind of worse when you didn't encounter glitching and stuff. The gameplay was good. The storyline was pretty good. I mean, it was a nice addition. It was definitely far from a disaster compared to some other titles, you know. But there was one aspect of it that was semi-annoying. I always get the feeling from that game, the gameplay I've seen of that game, that it was kind of an insult almost to, rural America. It seemed like almost like a coastal liberal's idea of how to make fun of a rural American.
How is called?
That was sort of a woke way of flipping a bird to rural America, flyover country or whatever.
I'm looking at what's next. Are you guys ready to move on to the next one?
Sure.
I'm glad you said what you said, Nord, because considering you said giving the bird to rural America,
Yeah.
what game comes to mind more than Far Cry 5 for that?
Oh. Uh, oh. Uh,
Oh,
God, I don't know. You'll have to tell me.
Wait. Wait, let me look it up.
Okay.
He's gonna do research.
On something as vague as what game gives rural America the finger more than Far Cry 5, that's nothing to go on.
Maybe it'll produce something.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear this.
That is Calico with Games of Fortnite.
That's not what's in my hand. Nice try. This game, when
I
it's
know, but I'm just saying that Calico, the Games of Gold, is basically all female based, and you get the numbers. They have like a African American chick like wearing like blue hair and blue dress and got a fat ass, which is kind of skinny. And then they do have a redhead that's freaking fat and got big tits on the fucking cover of Calico. No offense to like any race, culture, or whatnot. I'm just saying.
Well, none of that indicates like coastal sophistication, which is what they were trying to basically insult the flyover country people in Far Cry 5 with the idea that they're all bum killers.
well, none of what you said, Josh, is relevant to this game.
Yeah.
Because the black chick has a fat ass.
But
a redhead that's freaking fat and big tits, though.
But I will give you a hint that will spoil the name of the game for you. When this game was first announced, at first I thought it was DLC for the previous game in the franchise, but that got blown away literally with the opening of the announcement trailer, which spoiled the ending of the previous game when it was first announced.
Far Cry.
Yes. Far Cry New Dawn.
Yeah, that one.
That's what I mean when I say giving the finger to rural America more than Far Cry 5. There you go.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because honestly, like basically, they really like waited on people to actually like finish Far Cry 5, and also like, here's a fuck you to the fan base. Here, we're gonna give you a fucking
We're going to tell you what happened at the end. Everything blows up, and thus the setting for the next game, which shows creative bankruptcy.
Yeah. Can't think of anything new or new storyline, new characters. No, that's too lazy. We're too lazy for that. Let's just blow everything up that we had in the previous game and just whatever. Start from that.
Yeah.
And what's the females from the twins or whatever that I don't know if it's that was like the DLC for it. Right?
Yeah. It should have been DLC for the first game, but I digress. Or first game, fuck, from the previous game. But we're not done with Far Cry yet. There is one last game for the Xbox One here. And this one actually showed a lot more creativity. Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Never played it.
I haven't played much of it myself either.
Yeah, I only saw gameplay on that one. The only one I really played the hell out of was 3, I believe.
The one I played the hell out of was the Far Cry 3 the Dragon and then 5.
Yeah.
but I highly recommend Blood Red.
Is Raz still with us?
Raz,
Apparently not. Okay.
Yeah, seems not.
hold on.
There's still 4 people in here.
It's actually
Either way, if Raz isn't responding, we can move on if you guys are ready to the next game.
which game is that?
Have you guys played any Final Fantasy
Yeah,
games?
No.
Nord?
I've seen a lot of gameplay for it also, but no, I haven't played personally much of any of them.
Because next up for the Xbox One is Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition.
Yeah, can't say much about it.
Other than guys in cars driving around.
Very,
Pretty
very
much.
strange to me.
Yeah,
Very foreign style to me.
yeah. Well, it's Final Fantasy, so it's usually a
Cancel
foreign
the
style.
internal storage. I
How-
need free up space.
However, here is the first,
I like the girl that worked on car.
what's that?
Oh, shit.
However,
Cancel. I don't.
what's that?
Every 2 seconds. Free is asking me to or free up space. Every 2 seconds for killer instinct. I'm gonna delete any game right now for 42.7 gigs. I already uninstalled a whole bunch of games for me to play anything tomorrow. Still like
Sounds like
tomorrow.
you should just get a bigger hard drive.
Possibly.
I'm sure he didn't think of that.
Well, that seems like a similar response that one would usually get over. Yeah, gas prices are too high. Just go get an electric car. Electric guitar. What's that going to do?
Gas prices are too high. Might as well just go get an electric guitar.
Well, that was Leia, the DJ Dazzle dog or whatever.
Yeah,
They said it was the save. What is it? The save energy as like, oh, you're homeless. Go buy a house.
yeah, I saw that.
That was such a stupid response. And they
Oh, you're
always say
homeless?
it too.
Go buy a car.
But these are discussions that should really be had on Breaking Rocks.
Oh my god, you can't afford a house. Ew, poor.
Save it for Breaking Rocks tomorrow. Anyway, next up, a true next-gen game, well, in terms of what it says on the case, for the Xbox Series X, a Game of the Year, Hades.
Yeah.
It was great until I beat it like 8 times, and I was like, okay, so no new challenges, everything's the same.
Well, Raz is a pro gamer, apparently.
Yeah, I've never finished the game. So.
Yeah.
I mean, once I
don't
added
know.
it, I added enough points to where after I beat the game, where the bosses have different mechanics and all this and that, and then I beat that like 3 times back to back, I got over it.
So,
Oh
after,
shit.
yeah, so after that, another Series X game, Hitman 3.
That was more boring than I really thought. Why would I want to spend 30 minutes to an hour and a half trying to kill one dude when I could have just Call of Duty it in like 10 minutes?
Oh, it's just like the whole concept is completely annoying to you.
Not even the concept. Like I was like, oh, okay, cool. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out this and that and how to get this crowbar to get this vent to open this up. So when he walked here, I could do this, and he's gonna end up electrifying himself. And I picked a mission, and I was like, how long did that take? Oh, an hour and a half. Oh,
Jeez.
Well,
There's every Call of Duty style out there.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
garbage.
that's why my opinion of the Hitman series. It's designed for streamers to play.
It's designed
Well,
for, yeah.
it's designed for perfectionists.
For
People who
that
are
play
willing
games.
to spend ridiculous amounts of time doing something incredibly tedious for a basic outcome. And failing perhaps 100 fucking times.
I thought of a joke, but the joke should remain on Breaking Rocks, though. Anyway, speaking of Breaking Rocks, next up, and I'm not sure how that's a segue for this next game, but maybe you guys can help me out with the logic there. Next up for the Series X is Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Oh,
I'm not sure how Breaking
Okay,
Rocks
actually,
is a
here.
segue for this. What's that?
well, just imagine you encounter Medusa and you kill her and you take her head and you turn people to stone. See, there you go. There's your reference.
Is that a God of War reference?
I'm just-
That was a Clash of Titans reference, I thought.
yeah, that too.
Whatever. But yeah, Immortals Phoenix Rising, fun, open world thingamajig to play.
Never played it.
Never played either.
I'm not too far into it because I'm stuck on a puzzle in it, but still.
Yeah, it wasn't promoted much at all. I mean, very few people got around to playing that one.
Yeah. But on that note, up next is what used to be a PlayStation exclusive for a franchise. It's now a multi-plat, which is why it's in this category, and also why I even have it on Xbox at this point. But it's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, garbage.
Garbage.
Tell that to being one of the most popular genre games.
Shashi, I dare you to go into Phil's streams on YouTube and tell that to him.
I'll tell him
You know,
that's gonna
There's a
capture
reason why they
garbage
keep
on
making it.
Better yet, I dare you to go tell that to Lethal fucking Lightning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Kingdom Hearts as a series is in the top 5 of best-selling game series of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not Asian, okay?
Just saying.
So that's.
So I mean, granted, one could be like, "Oh, garbage" about it, but there's millions of people that disagree with you on that one.
So that's why bots follow Josh on Twitter.
You should do that, Josh. You should do that, Josh. You should go looking for Kingdom Hearts posts. Just be like, "Oh, garbage," in the chat.
Somebody was like, I really like Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, because you're garbage.
However,
That way you can get all the Kingdom Hearts stands all over you too.
Yeah.
I would not want to be doing that. I got your 5-year-old over here. I'm going to go to jail.
so on that note,
Yeah.
next up for the Xbox One is a storied movie franchise in Lego form.
Oh
Oh, what?
A storied
movie franchise.
in Lego form. It's
Yeah.
Lego Harry Potter: The Collection.
Yeah.
It's not Star Wars. I'll give it a +1 with the Star Wars.
A +1 because it ain't Star Wars. True. And also, like George Lucas, Hollywood is trying to cancel the creator of Harry Potter. Anyway.
And Glass is going to be upset about this episode.
Yeah.
So, up next, we got 2 games that I'm going to throw over my shoulder or across the room. Madden 21 and Madden 20.
Oh God.
What games were those? I don't even understand what you said.
Madden, NFL 20 and 21.
I was kidding. You should have said, like, okay,
I used to play the Maddens. I stopped when they went away from being Madden and more about making money.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of
They
sad
used to
how
have
they made-
on one of the old Maddens, maybe it was like '08. They used to have a first-person mode where you play like inside the helmet, like you were there.
That was ESPN
I remember
NFL
that.
2K5. I still have it.
Well, no, it was Madden because I specifically know that because that Madden also had some of my more favorite songs, and it had some All-American Reject songs written.
I can tell you the first football game to do inside the helmet thing was in 2004, and that was ESPN NFL 2K5. But either way, the next game for the Xbox One, great idea, poor planning, and poor execution of the game. It's Mafia 3. Anyone
Yeah, a
have
lot of people
anything on
play it.
Mafia 3?
A lot of people
I
played that
never
one.
care to play it. Not my favorite genre.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
played
had
the
a
old
niche.
Mafias.
Yeah, Mafia
Yeah.
2 was good. I didn't really care for the ending of Mafia 2, but the whole game was good. Mafia 3, I didn't even fucking. Well, I don't finish a lot of shit lately, but still. However, a great idea for a premise of a game, Maneater. So, Joshy, you played some of Maneater. Maneater.
It was on Game Pass, right?
Yes, and I have a physical copy, and I remember playing it on stream. And to my chagrin, because I'm a Minority Home fan on YouTube, I accidentally ate a turtle. I was trying to eat a fish, and the turtle got in my mouth. I'm like, ah, fuck.
Oh yeah, man, that's the Shark Fork.
Yes.
That game is awesome.
Loved it. I got every achievement on it in the first 24 hours of the game being out.
Well, aren't you a vicious
game's
great
pretty
white
awesome.
shark then?
Game is pretty awesome, honestly. I give it like
Kind of
95
disappointed that I couldn't win something other than a great white shark. But
But
Yeah, they could have really
no,
expanded on that one.
no. They do have a DLC where you could be like a hammered shark right now.
okay, well, that's DLC.
Yeah, that's DLC though. Yeah.
Not base game. Not base game. That. DLC.
He really told you, Joshy.
You want to talk about the DLC? Go ahead. I skipped the DLC.
Yeah, and, you know, they
I
could have done
honestly-
another. They could have done another one where you were a land mammal or something.
Could have been like a land, like freaking like elephant, and basically like
A land elephant? I think that's just called an elephant.
yeah.
I said a land mammal. Just I was being generic.
So Nord would rather play Maneater as the
Okay.
food.
Like, imagine if you got to be like a great brown bear or something, or maybe like a grizzly bear or something. You know?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It works with the whole shark concept because sharks are terrifying. So it would be something great, more vicious. It couldn't be like, oh, you're a fluffy little bunny rabbit,
So basically, you're going to
doesn't
be
work
making
that
a great series.
Although they did release Stray, so you could play a cat there.
However,
Okay.
the next game we gotta talk about, which we're barely gonna touch on, when I say this game makes my face tired,
He's tired.
I know that Nord knows what I'm talking about, but do you guys?
No.
Oh, dude.
Nord?
Oh, what?
This is Call of Duty.
Just
You
say,
hear
bro.
people saying Call of Duty in the background, so me off.
Mass Effect Andromeda makes my face tired.
Yeah.
Oh man, did I ever tell you guys about my experience with that game?
Nope.
No.
Go for
I
it.
had the legendary scene at the start of the game where the girl you meet on that one planet who like holds a gun at you and then shoots that flying robot. I was the person that had that where her gun was reversed. So she was holding her gun, it was back at herself.
That,
And the cutscene
that was
just shoots
Phoebe.
it.
yeah.
I got that too. I got that legendary scene too, and I was freaking dying. I was absolutely crying playing it.
The only way it could have been any better is if it glitched so hard that when she went to shoot the robot, she accidentally shot herself in the head. Just
Yeah, so
saying.
they completely broke the scene, right? The scene
Yeah.
they had completely broke with it.
I had the one where I had like the huge spider legs going down the stairs. That was great too.
And considering that if you're playing a straight male character,
Oh.
that character with the reverse gun, Phoebe, is a romance option. So if that happened and she accidentally shot herself in the head, my only reaction would be, well, I guess you're not an option later.
It was funny, man. That's it.
Which would that mean that in Mass Effect Andromeda, then I would also have to go, that only leaves Korra, so I have no options at all.
But here's the thing, right? We're getting another Mass Effect.
And supposedly, eventually, once BioWare and EA figure out what the hell they're doing with BioWare at this point.
They're trying to figure out. Yeah, it's like, how do we milk it?
And also, how do we convince like heads of BioWare not to fucking leave on a moment's notice?
How do we milk it?
Well, just go ask Cowman. I don't know.
Well,
we love you, Cowman.
Well,
Yeah, but on that note, next up for the Series X and Xbox One is Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
amazing.
Yeah.
Made me realize how we had great controls in one game, totally threw them away, and then got back to having great controls in the next game.
Pretty much. And this is the point where we probably should let Joshi rant about Miranda's ass at this point.
I mean, basically, when I first saw it, I was involved.
And what I mean is the moving of the camera and effectively editing scenes that feature Miranda and her big butt. Joshi, rant away.
Miranda was Mass Effect, right?
Mass Effect 2, yes. And technically 3.
She's pretty hot. So. She's pretty hot, and worth that speech signing for her ass. So she's pretty hot. All I gotta say.
So much for a rant, then. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry, I guess.
Well,
fucking
here's the
her
thing,
ass
right?
was offensive.
You want a rant? I can give you a rant.
All right, go for it. Let's have a Raz then.
Okay. Here's the thing about the romances in the game, right?
Yeah.
For different people. But do you want to know what I do not like? Why I would want to
What the fuck's going on here?
and like, okay, so people have said things about the assault party and this and that, but dude,
No.
Yeah, well, the problem I was saying with the Asari is that they're not guys or girls; they're like some other thing.
yeah, they're like a super movie, but like it's so gross. They're moving on their own and Ooh. And then like I've now that I finally played the thingy and I seen the DLC to see what a female terrain is, I'm cool. You can have them. I don't like lizard women.
Yeah.
Cool. Now Krogan's pass on that. That's lizard women too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, it was always like Ashley or the reporter girl. It was always a human I'd romance with.
What about Liara?
When I just said she's sorry. No.
All right. On that note, speaking of games with a female character that certain people on the internet fucking loathe, next up for Xbox One, according to IGN and GameSpot at the time back in the day, 10 out of 10, it's Metal Gear Solid 5 Definitive Edition.
Absolute the worst game of genre. I don't know why it existed. It was a freaking joke. It makes me want to gouge out my freaking brain from having to play it. That was like the biggest FU from Metal Gear fan that you can go and say was, hey, here's this garbage of a game. You're welcome. Oh, and by the way, I will not make another Metal Gear. What? And that was Metal Gear. That's how Metal Gear.
This is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain here, though. This is not...
Yes, the Phantom Pain. Yes, he has a gauntlet. It is red on his hand. Yes, I know what we're talking about. The absolute worst Metal Gear of them all. With let me get you red. The Vox Puppet. The vocal cord parasite.
No, there was a Metal Gear after 5. That's the one with the red thing on the stick.
Metal Gear Survive?
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Kojima didn't even direct that, so I don't even want to hear it.
Anyway. Next up, and I was talking about Quiet first of all, initially.
Ooh. Here's a naked woman.
That's
almost naked woman.
Almost
naked woman.
That's what I was talking about by certain entities in the world that don't like the game because of a certain character in it. That's what I was talking about.
I mean, I know people that only like the game for that reason.
This is isn't that ironic?
This is the point where Josh starts giving us his opinion on. And this is the point where Josh, you should be going on and on about how hot Quiet is, I think.
And that game was actually, it was decent. It had a kind of cool, interesting multiplayer. You were able to invade other people's bases and, like, steal their resources or steal their nukes and disarm their nukes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that, like, it can be live, so you can be at your base and someone can be invading it. And the only way you would know is if, like, you were paying attention and you notice people are asleep. And you can, like, sneak around and try to find them and then get them. And get points for getting them and send them his ass home. You can, like, upgrade your base to have, like, security cameras and better defenses and stuff like that.
Give me a minute, I'll be right back.
All right.
That was Metal Gear 5's multiplayer. It was interesting, just it died because no one really cared.
On that note, next up for Xbox One is Metro Exodus.
On the train again.
Yep.
Nord, any thoughts on Metro Exodus?
Well, to my knowledge,
I would
it
love
was
the
like
Russian
a
life.
yeah, good. Like if you're gonna have like a Russian version of like Fallout almost, that's pretty much what that is.
Yep.
Indeed.
But I'm looking forward to playing the Ukraine version of Fallout.
Well, it needs to be nuked first.
No, I don't know if you guys know what I mean. I'm not talking about the war going on. I'm talking about the actual game called Stalker coming out.
Stalker
Yeah.
2, yes.
Yes, that's made by actual Ukrainian people. So
Yeah.
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, or it used to be.
They had to move out of Ukraine to another country
Yeah.
so they could
I
keep
know the
working
whole
on the game,
thing.
yeah. Which there was an update that we reported on YouTube previously that game development had begun again. So there's a chance
And I suppose that's
it could come by the beginning of next year, but we'll see.
yeah.
But a small chance. But speaking of good games from good developers, in my opinion at least, The Outer Worlds by Obsidian, Xbox One.
I heard good things
Yep.
about it.
Yep.
I got a chance to play it.
Picture a better version of Fallout, but it's not a nuclear wasteland. It's, I guess, kind of Starfield before Starfield, but more of an
Abandoned but not destroyed.
yes type of thing.
Yeah, I believe I had rated that game of the year there.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, I mean, I got good things to say about it.
That's a good rating.
Yeah. It's a must play, and it's on Game Pass because
Yeah.
Obsidian is owned by Microsoft. So, but speaking of games that, well,
Did you guys hear about the whole Sony situation? The paying companies not to be on Game Pass?
no, I have not. We'll have to look into that and probably do that next week or something.
Yeah.
But on that
funny.
note, here's a
It'd be
game.
great to be a game developer.
Yeah, here's a game that when it came out, I believe it came out as a PlayStation exclusive. It has since moved to all platforms, but when it came out, it got a nickname that was not flattering to it. I'm talking about No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Had the worst launches, just like Cyberpunk in history, but ended up being such a great game that you can dump so many hours to if it's just something you want to grind endlessly. Welcome to outer space.
I will say that the top two worst game launches of all time were No Man's Sky and Fallout 76. At this point,
If Cyberpunk's not in there, then I don't know.
it would be like third, but the
Fallout 76 didn't have that bad of a launch. Everyone knew exactly what to expect from that launch. They said exactly what you were going to expect from the launch. As soon as you started the game, they even said, "Hey, guess what? There's going to be problems.
yeah, and
Major bugs."
and of the 4-man crew that I was playing with, I was the only one that got in.
Out of the 5-man crew that I played with, we all got in seconds after the game was launched.
Yeah. We were
We
there
were the
live
crew that took
seconds
over the
after
water
launch
plant
too. As
so
well.
everybody else could have power.
Anyway, here is a
Sorry, ranting again.
It's fine.
So it was bad, but expected to be bad.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be bad too.
I'm just real touchy about that subject because I was left. I had great times running the wasteland with my pit boy, singing country roads with 5 of my other friends.
I had
We're all
a
singing at the
terrible
top of
time
our
with it
lungs.
because when the last time that I played it, I logged in. Someone else built their base exactly where mine was. I'm like, fuck this shit.
So it literally just means you're one of the luckiest men alive.
Yeah.
Like, in the fucking world.
Who, me or him?
Well,
You.
yeah, because you got to you had a good experience with Fallout 76. You're
Yeah,
like
we got
one of
to
the
like shoot
luckiest
the
dudes
first
alive.
nukes of like the game.
Not
Yeah,
a,
exactly.
Did that
You're
like
one of the
day one.
luckiest.
not a
You're
lot of
one of the
people that I've
luckiest
talked
fucking
to
dudes
about
alive.
Fallout 76 had a good experience with it. So you're the only person that's ever said that to me.
Yeah, it's really rare to hear that. And
Yeah.
it's not that we don't believe you. We really do believe you.
Yeah, just don't ask me what my opinion was on in the Avengers in-game. You would hate it. I'm the only one in the world that hated that movie.
Well, no, you're not. There are people, there are plenty of critics of that movie.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people consider it to be a fitting ending, and then people have things they like about it. But to be a critic of it, there's plenty of those people.
Critics are wanted
the whole
here in,
talking,
here-
smart whole
here in
thing.
the
And
underground,
I
right?
want to
maybe
fill my
that's-
popcorn and walk out.
Maybe that's just me saying I'm not offended by you saying that, but I'm not. So
Just so you're aware that the name of the YouTube channel that you are on right now is called Drew That Underground Gaming. So in the underground, any opinion should be heard and is heard. So on that note,
Yeah, Giggle. So, what do you think about Fallout 76? Because I played that with you too.
is Josh even here?
Probably don't remember.
Jossie says a few things in the chat. Let's see. I'm still here, just eating real quick. He also says, so basically, Jetsons needs to have better tutorial on No Man's Sky. And he says, I'm in the chat. So he is watching.
Yeah.
However, the
Well,
next...
he needs to tell us what he thinks then.
So he's here in spirit, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess if that means in the chat, in spirit, yeah, I guess so.
Yes, he's in spirit.
Okay. Well, speaking of
Spirit
spirits, next up for Xbox One, I have here Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition. Great game. And anyone have any thoughts on Pillars of Eternity?
Never played.
Nord?
Yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of that one, so I can't say a lot about it. I do know that it was highly rated, so.
Yeah, it certainly is. Joshy says game sucks. I'm assuming he's talking about what you guys were talking about earlier and not Pillars of Eternity.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about his memories of playing that with you. It sucked.
So I guess Joshy disagrees with you, Raz.
Yeah, he wasn't part of the 5-man crew, so.
That's fair. Apparently, your crew were the 5 unicorns that don't exist.
Literally the only 5 players that got to play the fucking game. Dude, it's so funny because I wish playing Fallout 76.
So, next up for Xbox One, by Arcane Studios once again, and published by Bethesda, we have Prey. Not to be confused with the recent movie that came out of the same name. What's that?
Which Prey are we talking about? Are we talking about the space Prey or the stupid Indian one?
I don't know. We're talking about the one made, published by Bethesda and made by Arcane Studios. So the most recent Prey.
Then it's the one. Then it's the outer space one.
I haven't played like really much of it. I went through a door, looked at the elevator. I'm like, I'll come back to this.
I absolutely liked it. Truly good, fun, terrifying game. I went to pick up this coffee cup. It was not a coffee cup.
The coffee's alive, anyway.
I literally had a moment, right, where I was walking through this big old, like, factory type, like, room, right? Where, like, you would assemble, like, cars. And I saw this, like, square little, like, thing in the wall, right? And I was like, huh, this is a nice little crawl space to hide in. And I proceeded to, like, and I left it open, right? And I walked away. This huge, like, big old, like, black blob thing came out of nowhere, right? It's like maybe like 10 feet tall. Truly frightening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally makes me crap my pants. I just take off running, right?
I do like the pool gamer move. I like run right into the hideout. As I run into the hideout, I look right to hit the button to close it, and it closes. As I'm turning around, it's like right there, and I'm just like screaming. And my mom comes running to my room like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Video game." Scary.
Gamer problems, Mom. Anyway.
The girl was like, "Ah!" I don't want to burn you in here,
And Josh is laughing his ass off in the chat. But speaking of things that will make you crap your pants, Raz, or disgust you, next up for Xbox One, I have here in my hand Resident Evil Biohazard.
The house? Oh, that's disgusting. I don't know why people have this fixation about like chopping off body parts and everything, but like I'm a person that tries to relate to the main character. When they kept chopping off his hand, I was like, oh, I kept making sure my hand was still there. I was like, ooh, ooh, my right hand. I mean, I really love Resident Evil. It's been one of my favorite like survival / puzzle games. It's not really a puzzle, but they always made me so mad at the puzzles because I couldn't get them. And they totally like got rid of all the puzzles that one house one.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this magical oil that when you just put it on, your arm will just reattach itself. It's okay."
Yeah.
Game rules.
So next up, we're sticking with Resident Evil on the Xbox Series X / Xbox One, Resident Evil Village.
Ooh. So I just want to hear it now. Who
Our-
didn't like
Our Game
Lady
of the
D.
Year from last year.
Who didn't like Lady D? I want to hear your hand raised.
Oh, we all did. We all
How
loved
in the
it.
hell would you hear a hand raised? The only way that
I
would
just
work
want to hear
is
it. I should be hearing them shooting up so fast. I can hear the whoosh sound.
the only way you could accurately hear on these microphones a hand being raised is if we were the Tin Man in a rainstorm.
No, I should hear the sound of like your shoulder brushing up against the mic as you raise your hand.
Or
That's what I should be hearing.
Or we could just tell you that that she was
So like,
nominated for Character of the Year the same
Sound?
year. So
That game didn't even win Game of the Year.
I did for us
Well,
For us,
yeah,
but
on
not
our
the world.
streams.
And that's
we had a
BS.
debate about it though.
We
Yeah, I know.
did, but
I bet.
ultimately it was Game of the Year, and Character of the Year was Lady What's Her Face. So
Lady D.
yeah, Lady D was our Character of the Year. So that ought to tell you what Joshy Nord and I and what our community ultimately thinks of large vampire lady with curves. We're apparently a bunch of perverts
Curves.
in our community, apparently.
Yeah.
And Joshy doesn't help the situation when he's always going on and on about the blabbering collector.
Yeah.
But speaking of ladies with curves, you can create one in this game and have her get naked, go out in the city streets, and twerk on random guys naked.
Called Giggle Simulator.
Yeah, I'm talking about Saints Row the Third remastered.
Yeah.
The first two were better.
But here's
In my
a
opinion.
game that was equally difficult and rewarding and actually playable, unlike most From Software games, in my personal experience. For Xbox One, we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Again, a Game of the Year game. Your guys' thoughts on Sekiro Shadows Die Twice?
It was a pretty good game.
Nord?
I didn't get into much into that one.
Joshi, if you care to respond in the chat about Sekiro, or however anyone wants to pronounce it.
You pronounced it right that time right there.
The second time?
Yeah, Sekiro.
Okay. However, a game that should have never been made is up next. Nord, you and I have a long history with Tony Hawk games.
Yes, unfortunately.
And Tony Hawk 5 was lackluster to say the least, right?
Sure, the magic is gone.
And Skate 2 and 3 were really good, right?
Yeah.
This skating game is somewhere in between the two, but I would classify it along the lines of Tony Hawk 5 to a certain degree. Not as buggy, but something just seems off with it the entire time you're playing it. It's like it's trying to be Tony Hawk and it's trying to be Skate, and it's not either one. And it just does not work. I'm talking about Skater XL.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a game that didn't really impress too many people.
Tony Hawk Remastered 1 and 2 was amazing as fuck, Joshy says in the chat. Don't get ahead of us. But yeah. I don't have anything to say about Skater XL other than fuck off.
Yeah.
However, a game that I continually play to this day because of mods, and I have 2 long-running series, probably about to start a third one soon, with mods on my Twitch channel, which will later come to YouTube. Yeah, Josh, you never heard of Skater XL? I'm not fucking surprised. I only found out about it like 2 months before it came out on like a new skating game akin to Skate. Let's see what happens, and it wound up not even. It didn't even measure to Tony Hawk at that point. And I mean the later Tony Hawk games like American Wasteland and Underground. But this game, ongoing thing for me, probably going to keep playing it till the next installment comes out. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Yeah, what can be said about that one that ain't been said already?
Absolutely nothing, because we've said too much already.
We've probably spent 20 plus hours of stream time talking about Skyrim.
And we probably spent the equivalent of 25 to 30 years just playing
it. Yeah, well, you have.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Raz, any thoughts on Skyrim?
Oh, lots of fun.
Lots of bugs. But that doesn't...
Lots of good bugs that make it fun.
Yeah, that's true. Which is where I was going.
Probably has more realistic conversations than I have with people today.
And they get even more realistic with mods. So, fun fact.
Yeah.
Especially that one about the arrow to the knee.
I mean...
That's in the base game. That's no fucking mod.
Just meme heaven is what I would consider Skyrim.
Yeah, it is.
Meme heaven in a good way, as opposed to Mass Effect Andromeda meme heaven in a bad way.
Yeah.
However,
all around great game.
Yeah, I got another really good RPG here, published by Ubisoft. And I know what you guys. Yeah. And I know what you guys need to say. Ubisoft published a good RPG? On what fucking planet? Right?
Assassin's Creed not an RPG?
Well, I'm not talking about Assassin's Creed here.
Well, if we just define RPG to mean any game where you're playing a character.
We're talking about here South Park, The Fractured Butthole.
Ubisoft did that?
Yes, they did. It says Ubisoft right in the bottom corner here.
Wow. That's pretty bold. You know that is another South Park game in the works, right?
I did not know that, but I do have digitally the previous South Park game from Ubisoft as well. And Chashi says, needs Sophia.
What does that mean?
Sophia
Inside joke.
Sophia is a mod for Skyrim, whom is a character that somebody made and like uploaded to Nexus and to Bethesda.net. Whom you discover her at the Whiterun stables when she's passed out drunk and she doesn't have any clothes.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to give her clothes and then you go out on adventures together. And her big thing is, is that she loves pissing people off, she loves getting drunk, and she loves killing things. So, in other words, she's the female Joshy of Twitter.
You don't say.
Pretty much, yeah. But Skyrim needs more of your characters, Drew. I'm not going to disagree with that because I make good characters. So, who's this?
More people joining this. That's my friend.
Okay. Well, welcome to the stream, whoever you are.
That is Shrek the Ogre.
Okay. Well, on that note, we have a good Star Wars game up next.
Oh, there's very few of those.
There's only one good one from EA, so you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about because its sequel hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good story.
Mm-hmm. Good character.
Yeah, surprisingly good game.
And I'm surprised that we're getting a sequel because that means that another Redhead hasn't been canceled yet.
Yeah.
Headset on.
They'll find a way to ruin it. Don't count them out.
Yeah. However,
They get whoever directed the last 3 movies, yeah.
Yeah. But on that note, an EA Star Wars game that should have not been made, Squadrons.
Yeah, agree with that.
And we're just going to move on and skip right past it. However,
What?
Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons from EA.
Oh! Jeez, what a giant letdown.
Yeah, that's why I threw it across the room. Because I've been throwing the games that suck. But here's a collection of 3 games that are actually quite legendary, especially for people of mine and Nord's age, and that's Spyro the Reignited Trilogy.
Yeah.
Not sure when I'm gonna go back and try to relive my 5-year-old childhood playing Spyro, but I think I will at one point, maybe when I'm 40.
Interesting.
Spyro the Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played that when I was 5 years old.
However, Joshi mentioned in the chat earlier this for Xbox One, and now we're finally getting to it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
It's a good game. The remaster.
Oh, Giggles is back.
I was saying. Hold on.
What?
Skyrim needs more characters for your characters group. And I said needs more. Yeah. You put something. You said something else. So but yeah, I'm saying Skyrim needs more characters like Sophia.
Okay. That's fair. But anyway.
But yeah, I don't know what Sophia is, but yet you have more of an opinion about Sophia because you've been basically playing as Sophia 24/7.
Well, she's a big part of the story of the Drew Heartfire playthrough on my Twitch channel because Drew Heartfire wound up marrying her, so. And that's a story that I tell with that character. So
Yeah, it's too bad marriage in Skyrim didn't mean jack shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to see where this goes with Sophia, though.
It didn't mean much right up until the Heartfire DLC when you could adopt children.
I didn't on Skyrim. I didn't find anyone I wanted to marry until I got to the vampires.
So, and I know you were talking about Serrana there.
No comment. No comment.
So you were
And I
looking
was
for a
like talking
bloodsucker.
to the head vampire dude, and he was like, basically, I know you want to get with my daughter. You want to get with my daughter, you're gonna be a vampire. And I was like, all right.
It's like no biggie. I wanted to be one anyway.
I was like, shoot, you had me. I'd be with your daughter.
So the next game in my collection here is from Telltale. It's the first Walking Dead.
Oh, beautiful!
Yes,
What a great story. What a great ending.
I
indeed.
think they got it for free, but I never actually paid them. No penny there, honestly. No offense, but I don't.
I'm just kind of
No.
sad of what happened to the company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
in there.
We were talking about that
Like,
briefly with the Batman Telltale series earlier in the stream when we were going over that.
Oh, fucking.
Like, I totally would have been happy if it didn't go under and they would have continued making another great game that I enjoyed, and that it did end up being a total flop.
Yeah,
But what can I do? I'm not the game company.
Yeah, but still, they also spoilers. They pulled off what's it, Twitter, off the Borderlands series, and off the secondary storyline, other than the actual storyline for Borderlands. So, kind of messed up in my.
yeah.
I do like the company though, no problem though, but it's just that I don't know whose option was that for them to kill Scooter, like off the damn main Borderlands series though. Within this series though, I don't know, but still, like I do like Telltale games no matter what though. But it's just that it's kind of garbage how they so yeah actually have Scooter die.
Yeah. And next up, we're not done with Telltale yet because I also have here The Walking Dead: A New Frontier as well. And everything that we said previously applies to that too. So, however, next up for Xbox One and Series X is Watch Dogs Legion.
What?
Watch Dogs Legion.
Watch Dogs.
I always kept saying to myself, like, oh, I gotta play this. It looks so great. Never did.
Yeah, it's quite
Oh.
interesting.
Nothing wrong with you can play with old ladies, right?
Yeah, you can recruit
shit.
anyone in the
Fucking
city. You can recruit an old lady. You can recruit someone that has problems not farting when they're nervous, and
No, thank you.
and shit like that.
No, thank you. Because I guess like Angry Joe did a video of like I don't know, like half an hour to an hour long, but like the first 15 minutes was him and like what is it?
Other
Other
Joe,
Joe and
yeah,
Other Joe and whatever like
Alex.
playing as like Alex like
Yeah.
I was playing as like freaking Granny. It was garbage.
it was funny.
should,
I
like,
thought.
It was funny though, but still I should download the video because basically like play the game and actually give it like honest reviews and Granny's just making fun of stuff, you know? I don't know. It's just my opinion though. I don't know.
However,
Honestly-
what's that?
Honestly, like these Watch Dogs games are kinda like made very slow and also like okay, let's just make fun of this game, you know? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
However, next up, when I say the name Compulsion Games, what games come out to leap out to you?
What?
When I say the name of Compulsion Games, what games leap out to you?
bullshit.
They're currently owned by Microsoft now since they got bought out a couple of years back.
Okay, so it's gonna be like garbage. Open this.
Well, I have for Xbox One here, published by Gearbox and made by Compulsion Games. We Happy Few.
Oh, I played it.
And your
By the
thoughts on
way,
We
That
Happy
was
Few?
my number one most viewed game when I streamed it.
And
Of
we
all the games I streamed.
and we have one of Joshy's fans in the chat, a Sexbot.
I mean, are you sure it's not another Josh?
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not me. I'm sorry. I was like not paying attention.
Josh is bringing his fans to the stream. And welcome back, Red
Or-
Hood, in the chat. Red Hood's back just in time to meet one of Joshy's fans.
Yeah.
But let's we Happy Few is what we were talking about before we got distracted by Joshy's fans in the chat.
Yeah.
But, so We Happy Few, is it any good?
I liked it. It was a pretty good game.
You mean to delete one
Really
of
good
his
story.
fans? LOL. I'm not going to do anything, Red Hood. It's the mod's job to decide what they want to do with Joshy's fans in the chat. And especially Joshy, since he's a mod in the chat too, so it's his choice to delete his own fans or not, as far as I'm concerned. But
Leave it all behind.
We Happy Few we were talking about still. I haven't played any of it yet because it's one of those things that was like a birthday or Christmas present. So
I'm pressing remove on these Omega.com and it's not doing jack anything. Do this one. Or you'll earn not with you. There we go. One more. Okay. We can't get the last one.
Ah, man.
anyway, next up, since evidently there isn't much to say about We Happy Few, a game that won Game of the Year when it came out. What's that?
One second.
Okay.
The We Happy Few did a Switch and bait release, like with the damn trailer, though. Honestly, it's like,
Yes, it did. That's why it's a multiplayer and not an exclusive like it was at launch.
Yes, because honestly, from the first trailer that I saw, it looked like BioShock. And then all of a sudden, like, when we played it, like, as a preview or whatnot, though, it was basically like a freaking survival game. Like, nobody knew it was going to be a survival game by the way they actually promoted the game, because the game actually looked like it was like a freaking, frankly, freaking,
Yeah, it kind of looks story based, if I remember correctly.
story based or whatnot, though, yeah.
Yeah. But on that note, if there's nothing else, next up, a game that won Game of the Year at Jeff Keighley's Awards, and if we had been doing our version of our own video game awards on YouTube at the time, this game would have gotten the nod from us too. I'm talking about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Wow, what a great game.
Yeah.
Yay.
Coincidentally, it came out right around the same year as Fallout 4. So,
I'll tell you one thing that made that game for me. The ability to swing around like you have a whip.
What made the game for me was everything working together to make it a masterpiece.
Oh, I mean, like, when I unlocked the combat where I started being overpowered in combat where I could just swing my swords around on the whip.
Whoa, he was fucking on the ground. How the hell did he get up there that fast?
And Shrek, always with comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing a different game than you guys.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
well,
streaming on
we're
YouTube
talking
talking
about
about games, so.
Yeah.
But on that note, a collection of the game plus its DLC by Machine Games, published by Bethesda. We got Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein: The Old Blood.
Yeah, one of the most successful game series.
Yep. Anyone have any thoughts on Wolfenstein: The New Order?
Kill Nazis.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then right
Stop
after,
Hitler.
and then right after that, we have Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
Kill Nazis.
You probably won't say that with this next game because it's Wolfenstein Youngblood Deluxe Edition.
Don't kill Nazis.
Nazis and robot dogs.
Kill robot dogs.
And
Robot
finally,
manly dogs.
Dog.
Oh, upset raptor.
Dog.
yeah. And finally, for
What the
the
dog doing?
Xbox Series X / Xbox One, the final physical game before we get into the digital games, it is Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
My brother
that
absolutely
was
loved those.
yeah, top rated game for me.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
It was one
I think
of our,
it was my last year pick, I believe.
it was one of our nominations for Game of the Year. I believe it was you that nominated it, Nord, at
Yeah.
the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
But on that note, we can get into the digital games now. So if we talked about this previously, because I have a physical copy, we're going to pass over it then. So up first, we got Among Us.
Download Daisy.
Among Us was on.
It is.
Oh, never mind.
It is on
I
Xbox.
was
It's
trying to
on
remember.
PlayStation,
I was trying to remember. I was thinking of a whole different game.
PC,
Yes.
and Switch.
Great game.
Yes.
A lot of friendships were made and broken on this game.
Yes. We've played it on Twitch ourselves. Up next is Apex Legends.
Blah. Battle Royale is kind of getting annoying. But everyone loves them.
And finally, I'm glad you're back, Red Hood, because we're finally getting to it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Shrek, what are your thoughts on that? What? On what? Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I could like barely hear you. What's your thoughts on something?
You're talking about Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Ah, that's great. Best Assassin's Creed.
I would say
You're not going to hear that from, you're going to hear that from everybody here. I almost misspoke.
it's very easy to like, and the part about it, like I said earlier in the chat here, is that it's such a good game that you could really pull out the Assassin's Creed element of it, and it would be a great game even without that part.
Yeah, absolutely. But after that, this game got a remaster to Xbox One, so we have to bring it up. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
Yeah.
So we're going to just skip past it because we already talked about it earlier. Then there's
Yeah,
Assassin's
that's
Creed.
my opinion, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I really liked it. Not the best Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I really liked it.
We all know your favorite is Assassin's Creed fucking.
Just spoilers.
Assassin's Creed fucking Native American.
Native American.
3. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Native
The most
American,
racist
goddamn it.
Assassin's Creeds of them all.
Ooh.
Let's have a stereotype white
What's up?
soldier call this a racist Indian woman has a Native American baby.
Well, actually, it's an English baby.
Or English, my bad. I mean, broke away from love during that time, but
Yeah. Still. Up next is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which we talked about earlier.
Yep.
And then Red Hood, you were complaining about this one earlier. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, we're finally here. So, if you want to talk about England, well, the only thing I liked about Syndicate was England and the environment itself and the atmosphere. What's that, Josh? Okay, well, that's enlightening.
Let's try Chapa. I didn't like Syndicate. Kind of a disappointment.
A lot of people didn't really care for it.
Never would I ever turn my back on the Assassin's Creed. I'm like, I only played Syndicate. I rented it off like when Redbox was like the hot thing. They had it for like.
The story was terrible. Yeah. I agree with you, Red Hood. And Red Hood also says in the chat, I don't like that they killed Desmond. That's all I'll say.
Well, some people point out that Desmond shouldn't even have been in the game. That whole half of the game.
Everyone just
Took
hated that whole
away.
point where they were like, hey, here's everything like about Assassin's Creed. Oh, let me just take that away. We're back to the real world. We're doing this shit.
However,
Like,
Still play fucking Valhalla just to find out how Eivor ended up in America. Still never understand that. Like, wait,
this Assassin's Creed game also got a
How
remaster for
did
Xbox
they get
One. This is
how did he get here?
Assassin's Creed Rogue
Jump
remastered.
into the vending machine.
Assassin's Creed's Rogue.
Yep, remastered for Xbox
I don't
One.
think isn't Rogue the one that came out on like PSP or something.
No, it launched this basically the same time as Unity, but Unity was on Xbox One. Rogue initially launched only on the 360 and PS3, respectively. So Rogue was the last gen version, Unity was the next gen version, and Rogue actually functioned. Unity didn't.
You have to play a Wraith on Defend.
So you can say what you want, but I thought that Rogue was basically just a reskin with like a slightly different story of Black Flag.
Apparently, it put us in a game that's already started.
You're the only one that's playing that.
Up next, we got Axis Football 19.
What?
Axis Football 19. It was an indie generic football game, like an alternative to Madden. It came out in 2019.
Yeah, probably not a whole lot of players of that one.
Yeah. Up next, the first Batman Telltale game.
Yep.
And remastered for Xbox One, we have Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
I'm not the only one that's.
I always thought Asylum was better than City, but hey, it's just my opinion.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything on the Arkham games?
I know a person who's a big fan of the Arkham game.
All right. Next up, we
He's
have.
in this party. His name's Shrek. But he doesn't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
What about?
Did you like the Arkhams?
The Batman series?
Yeah.
No, the Superman series. Yes.
I didn't know Superman had series.
I love sarcasm. This is why I like having people on the gaming podcast on YouTube, because I don't know what they're going to say.
Come on, push the fucking monster, guys. Let's go.
Welcome to the underground of gaming, everybody.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Up next, I got Battlefield 4 here.
Yeah, jeez.
as well as Battlefield 1 and Battlefield
Better than
5.
Call of Duty.
Huh?
Everything is better than Call of Duty.
Everything's better than Call of Duty?
Everything.
Everything? Are you sure? Considering
Oh,
some of the games
definitely.
that we talked about earlier. What about Battlefield Hardlines?
I don't know. That one actually had my favorite sniper in it, so it's really hard to go there.
Okay.
Fitty cow.
No, Remington R700.
Up next, we have Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite Remastered for Xbox One.
Such great games.
Yes, indeed. Anyone have any specific thoughts on the Bioshock series?
Well, other than I don't trust them to make another good title around it.
That's fair. Although I do want to say this, I remember when the first Bioshock was announced at E3 back when G4 and X-Play and stuff like that were good and were on TV when we were younger. Nord and I were watching E3 when Bioshock 1 was announced, and we didn't think anything of it at the time because it didn't interest us then.
Yeah.
Right, Nord?
Oh yeah, and in hindsight, we should have been completely stoked. But hey,
Yeah, but it was a new IP. We're
I know
like,
these
this
things.
doesn't really look that interesting. Well, boy, were we fucking wrong.
I thought it looked really gritty and sort of like a horror game. I didn't really think it was going to be like a more deep RPG type.
Yeah.
But they did a good job with the first one, and then they did more work, and it was it ended up being very just indelible to the gaming history. So
And after that, I have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which I have yet
Yep.
to start playing. And next up, Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
I mean, did you not throw Bioshock Infinite in there?
Bioshock Infinite. We can go back and talk about it.
Personally, I think the first two Bioshocks were the best, but my gosh, the memes me and Trick have from Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
With Elizabeth throwing bath salts at your face.
Oh, bath salts.
Yeah.
Fucking Booker
Sucker catch!
Yeah.
Totally misses and hits him right in the face. I need help. Booker, I got some salt. Ah, man, some ammo. I'm out of ammo. I'm like, all my guns. Booker, I found some help. Catch.
Booker catch.
I just don't even catch. I just let that shit just fall to the floor.
Next up, I got Call of Duty Modern Warfare for Xbox One and Call of Duty Vanguard for Series X.
yeah,
They want to be
major
so badly
letdown.
into a modern shooter, but they don't let you cover up a grenade.
Yeah.
Akin
What a joke.
to Captain America in his movie back when the MCU was good.
I don't know if any soldier can ever tell you in real life and any situation where they jumped around the corner and were able to kill several people.
Yeah, it's not quite believable.
And those are questions that I really don't ask anyone who served in our military either.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The only game where a 5-year-old will call you the N-word. And he's not even black.
So on that note, the final Call of Duty game I have digitally here is World War II.
Yeah.
And then next up, I have Castlevania Harmony of whatever this says. Castlevania.
Giggles looks like he's a big Castlevania fan.
Yeah, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Castlevania Mirror of Fates, Castlevania 2, and Castlevania Symphony of Night, or of the Night. So the Castlevania games. Any thoughts on the Castlevania series?
I don't have any thoughts on that one.
Oh wait, those are 360 games. Never mind. We're supposed to be talking about Xbox One. Whatever. Fuck it. At this point, because we're 3 hours in, and I forgot what the hell we were doing.
Yeah, we're just going through like all the games you own, basically.
Well, we were supposed to be going through all the Xbox One and Series X games, and I just went through the Castlevania series, which is digitally for the 360 here.
Well, then just, I guess, move on.
Okay. Conan Exiles is up next.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Is that sarcasm, I think?
Well, well, first of all, I guess props to them for developing the most ridiculous, what should I say, character models.
Yeah. And by ridiculous, what do you mean?
Well, I don't think anyone needed to see balls swinging in the air, but hey, if that was your thing, that was your game.
That's fair.
Something about Evolve?
No, he was talking about balls swinging in the air in Conan Exiles.
Okay, I thought it was something about Evolve.
No.
You hear balls and you think it's Evolve. Okay.
I heard Evo and I was like, Evolve?
Anyway, speaking of Cup and Heads, we have Cuphead next. That's an interesting segue to that game.
Cuphead is definitely another one of those
I've been playing
legendary
Cuphead
editions.
games for freaking years, whether it was on console or standing tall at an arcade.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cute because it's little cups and fun little critters, and it's modern because I think all the generation that played it totally was the whole generation that missed arcade games. But hey, that's just me. I don't know.
And it was tough as hell. To the point where journalists couldn't get past the tutorial. Anyway.
Yeah, but fucking
It proved
journalists, man.
to us that journalists aren't gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
If you couldn't, I made that double jump on my first try.
the journalists that call themselves journalists aren't gamers. The people that I consider game journalists are gamers, like the people of Geeks and Gamers, like us, and like Angry Joe, and so on. But IGN and GameSpot and Eurogamer, absolutely fucking not. Those are game activists, pure and fucking simple, in my opinion.
Yeah, the activists hanging out in the gamer community.
On that note, I think me and Trent got to bounce because we're going to be playing Evolve.
Have fun. Have a good time,
Yep.
guys.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
Well,
Y'all
we're glad to have you. You guys were funny as hell, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, James, my girl.
Yep.
Let me see. What up? Well, he's hiding his stuff. I can't see his personal information and credit card. All right. Bye, Nord. Can't get his picture.
Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know his mother's maiden name. His name's Nancy. The name of his first pet.
Anyway,
No.
in the chat, speaking of things that are bouncing, Red Hood was saying about Conan Exiles, the one game where boobs weren't the only thing that jiggled.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was alluding to.
Yeah. So we know why
Because,
Red Hood
as
likes,
you well know,
Conan
bro,
Exiles. For
as you
the
well know,
opposite
bro.
reason why I have played Conan Exiles was for the jiggly boobs. For Red Hood, it was the jiggly other things.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, bro, is as you well know, there were many games before Conan Exiles where you could see boobs.
Yeah,
even pretty realistic groups even.
quite a few. Yeah.
But there weren't that many games where you got to see realistic man, John.
Let's see. The one thing that leaps out to my mind the most for Jiggly Boobs was Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball.
Well, sure, there's many.
Yeah, but that was the
how many
one
can
where
you
they
name?
were the most jiggly, I suppose.
How many can you name where there was man parts that were jiggly?
Just
Not that many.
just Exiles is off the top of my head,
Some of us are scarred.
and some of us don't give a shit anymore,
Mm-hmm.
like me. Speaking of scarred for life, next up is Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah, that game. Lovely.
Yeah,
Tough as nails. Probably the ultimate test of whether or not a person is actually a gamer, or whether they're not.
for me, this is in this exact same boat, standing right next to Elden Ring for me.
Yeah. You know, it's the standard of tough. To say, okay, what's a tough game? You know, Dark Souls. Dark Souls is the standard of tough.
I wouldn't call it a tough one. I'd call it impossible. But that's just me.
Well, it's not impossible.
Well, for me, apparently it is.
It just
But
requires a level of dedication that most players of games don't really have time for.
speaking of games that are challenging, at least, but still playable for most people, is a game that won Indie Game of the Year at the time, Dead Cells.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. And
That was a good one.
any thoughts on Dead Cells?
Yeah, other than a very, very highly rated game, and that one actually was pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely rate it in the top 50 of its decade.
Agreed. Next up is Dishonored 1 Definitive Edition.
Yeah, like we had said earlier about Dishonored.
Yeah. And next up is Doom from 2016.
Oh yeah, Doom.
Yep. After that, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. I know a lot about the Dragon Ball Z series.
It's effectively a Dragon Ball RPG MMO, effectively.
Yeah.
And then after that, Dying Light 2, Stay Human. It's pretty
Yeah, a lot of
good.
people like that one. I saw a lot of promotion for that one.
And we mentioned this earlier while talking about Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring.
Yeah. Yeah, Elden Ring.
This
Standard
game,
of this year probably will be the game of the year when it's all said and done here.
this next game we have not started playing yet because I just downloaded it yesterday. Josh is working on it now. Hopefully Nord will be too, so we can play it on Twitch sooner than later. It's Enlisted, which is a free-to-play game.
Yeah. Yep, don't know what to say about it yet, but hopefully I will have things to say about it.
But we will be talking about it at some point in the near future once we get the chance to try to shoot each other in the head.
Yeah.
Akin to Nord and I when we're playing European Assault, and hopefully we can.
Yeah.
Next up is Evil Dead the game. I wish Joshy were alive right now to talk about it. He's supposed to be in the party chat here, but we haven't heard him in a while.
Yeah, we had already talked a lot about that one.
Yeah.
A lot about that time.
Next up is Fall Guys, or as I call it, Black Friday the game.
Yeah.
Fallout 76. Let's skip it.
Yeah. Well, some people liked it.
Yeah, and we
Apparently.
met a couple of them right before they left just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But next up is Far Cry Primal. I have not started playing this yet, and I've been meaning to, among a lot of things.
Yeah, I can't really speak to that title either.
Yeah. Far Cry 6. I am pretty far into this game.
Yeah, that one's a better one.
Let's see. We got Final Fantasy VII for Xbox One.
Yeah, people compare that one to the better RPG games of the decade. I would think that that would be in the top 5, actually.
And also getting an Xbox One port was Final Fantasy 7 remastered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or is this 8? No, this is 8. 7 is right before.
Oh, okay.
So it's 7
Yeah.
and 8.
Yeah.
And Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, you either like it or you don't.
I don't. It led to me blocking a 10-year-old kid on Xbox Live, so I hate it. Because it turns me into a guy that I don't want to be. I wish Joshua were here because up
Yeah.
next is Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah.
Which we talked about earlier when we were talking about 2 at the start of this almost 3.5-hour stream to this point. This next
Yeah,
game,
we should.
well, we're up to G's, so we're getting close to halfway through the digital games at this point, which are about
Yeah,
as many as my physical ones.
But you got to realize I'm not going to be able to hang in for like 2 more hours, bro.
Well, we're just going to try to speed through a bunch of these things since it's just you and I now. Next up was a birthday present from Chris, who used to work on the channel with me. Ghostbusters, the video game, remastered.
Yeah.
Next up
That was they like that one.
Go Home Console Edition, which was a Games with Go game at the time. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh yeah, GTA 5.
Yep.
Definitely one of the better games ever made.
We have Greedfall.
Yeah, that had a big following.
Fairly. We have Inside.
I didn't get around to playing that or seeing that one.
Yeah, I haven't started playing that either. Ghostbusters was good. Enjoyed it a lot, Redhead says. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh yeah, that one's one of the more historically realistic games ever
Yeah,
made.
and the combat mechanics really fucking sucked, in my opinion. They could have gone a different way to make that game a lot more playable,
Yeah, it was challenging.
to say the least. And challenging not in a good way like Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Challenging like, okay, what the fuck do I even do here? Challenging.
Yeah.
Next up is LA Noir. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Noir. Yeah.
Yep, which this is the Xbox One port. I also have it physically for the PS3 as well.
Yep, that's one of the best games ever made.
Mm-hmm. I've been meaning to play that. I just don't know if I should do it on stream because of the graphic nature of it.
Yeah.
Lego City Undercover. Lego Marvel's Avengers. Lego The Force Awakens. Yay. Lego Worlds and Limbo. Any thoughts on any of those?
Well, they're all just kind of in the same category.
Except for Limbo, because it's not a Lego game.
Yeah, except for that one.
There's Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah.
There's Mad Max, the video game.
Oh, yeah, some people like that one.
And others obviously didn't. Madden 22. Then there's Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a fairly recent release.
Sure, should have been really great, but it was kind of held back by the character models and voiceovers.
Yeah. And also Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. Any thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy from Telltale?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are those thoughts?
So what was that game you just said?
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of similar to what I was saying about the other one.
Yeah, about the other Telltale games. Story driven, choice driven.
Yeah.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Next up is Doug Flutie's Maximum Football 2019.
Yeah, that one was definitely one for the fans of Doug. They definitely would love that.
Yeah, but it seems like it's coming back, but with like a bigger studio, somebody different making it. Not so much an indie studio, but like a mid-tier studio now, which ought to make it better
Yeah.
and more appealing to more people. Next up is Metro 2033 Redux.
Yeah, well, it's right along with the other Metro games.
Yep. Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition and Shadow of War. So the Middle Earth games.
Yeah, I heard a lot of critical review about that one.
About the Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because of the loot boxes that were in the game at launch that have since been removed.
Yeah, it was like something that was really critiqued at first.
Yeah. And then after that, it's Minecraft.
Oh yeah, good old Minecraft, the most
Mortal
successful game
yeah.
series of all time, pretty much.
Then Mortal Kombat X.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
then
Right
and
along
next
with the other
and,
Mortal
and next is a
Kombats.
criminally underrated game based on its story, Murdered Soul Suspect. Basically, in this game, your character gets murdered at the start of the game, and as a ghost, you have to solve your own murder.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting premise.
Yeah,
And
that is a good
I
premise.
encourage people get it and give it a try. And if you guys in the chat want to see me playing it on Twitch, just say so, and I will do it at a moment's notice. Or I have to install it first, obviously. NBA 2K19. Fuck. I accidentally hit a button here. Here we go. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, the whole Ori series is really good.
Yeah. The Outer Wilds. A Plague Tale Innocence, which there's another game in the series coming soon.
Yeah, the only problem I had with that game was like it's a lot like a movie.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but
yeah, it's just an acquired taste.
Yeah. Next up is RBI Baseball 19.
Yeah.
Hey, Boot in your face. How's it going?
How's it going?
All right. So on that note, next. Why is there? Why am I hearing my voice afterwards?
There must be a receiver open.
Okay. Well. Next up is Rage 2. And then Red Dead Redemption 2. Like you were talking about Red Hood in the chat earlier.
Yeah, Red Dead 2 is one of the best games.
Sounds like Boot in your face is just swinging on a rusty swing somewhere.
might have to put him out.
Okay, he just left. All right, well that's helpful.
Yeah, that will clean up the audio.
Yeah. So you liked.
Yeah, I got around to playing quite a bit of Red Dead 2. It's a very enjoyable game. Certainly a masterpiece.
Red Hood in the chat says I like the first one too, and RDR, so that's Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, it's a really great series all the way around.
So do I. I have it for the 360. Next up is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which at the time when that came out was an Xbox timed exclusive. So some people like Far From Subtle, whom I was watching on YouTube back then, Was thinking that Tomb Raider was Xbox's answer to Uncharted. Not so
Yeah.
much. But Rise of the Tomb Raider is still really good, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Next up is Rocket League.
Yeah, that game keeps on going and going and going.
To a degree, so does this next one, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, there's massive multiplayer communities. A lot of people play. They always have.
And next up is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which a lot of the same thing that I said about Rise of the Tomb Raider can be said here. There's Smite. Smite can smite off.
Yeah.
There's Splitgate, which is has been popular with Mara and other
Yeah,
people that we
a
follow.
lot of people like that. I just couldn't get into it that much. It was it's just not my style.
Red Hood in the chat says, I like the Undead Nightmare DLC for the first one. Wish it got a RD2 version. Yeah, I have the Undead Nightmare business. I just have not started doing that yet. Because I have as you guys have seen in this stream so far, 3.5 hours in and we're still not done yet. This is all Xbox One and Series X games, folks. This is what I have to still get through. Just to show you guys what I'm working with here. Next up, we have Star Wars Battlefront 2, which should surprise nobody that I wound up getting it, even though it was on sale. State of Decay 2, Juggernaut Edition. Any thoughts on State of Decay 2?
Well, I saw a lot of promotion for that game too. For a good long while, it was in like the recommendeds for me. I never really played it though.
Yeah. Also, we have Super Animal Royale, which you and I have played on stream against each other.
Yeah, and I've actually played quite a bit of that game. I enjoyed it. It's it's really, really, fun at times.
Yeah. Also fun at times, and this should surprise no one that I have this, Tetris Ultimate.
Yeah.
It's Tetris.
Yeah, what can we say?
It's gaming history. Titanfall 2, which I recently had... This was the most recent thing I had played on Twitch right now. Which also, that stream gets released on YouTube on Tuesday, I think. Or maybe Monday, I can't remember which day. But it gets released in the next couple days. Although it's midnight now here, so now that's even sooner. Because now it's Sunday. Which means today we do Breaking Rocks later today then, in the afternoon. So next up we got The Division 2. So Tom Clancy and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Classic, but I never got into the game. Yeah. Next up is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, so the port to Xbox One from the PS3 and 360 version of the reboot of the Tomb Raider game. Here's a game that's not allowed to be sold anymore, Too Human.
Yeah.
Although that's a 360 game, so never mind. Uno, I have on here. Unravel 2. Walking Dead, the final season from Telltale, which coincidentally, when each episode of this was getting released, was when Telltale went under. So another company had to step in and finish the series. Otherwise, anyone who bought the pass for every season got completely fucked over at that point.
Yeah.
And I was one of the ones that bought the pass for every episode. But yeah. There's the final season. I still haven't finished playing it. Got to get back to it. I'll probably try to start over and start doing on stream for the sake of content. Warframe. Yes, sir.
Yep, that's one I remember.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 1 and 2. a way out, we started playing on stream, and as I said to Hello Beautiful on her Twitch channel, you and I got to get back to playing that.
Yeah, we do gotta finish that.
WWE 2K19 and 2K20 and 2K22 are the final games in my digital collection.
Yep.
And that is everything, folks.
You probably have more to say about those than I would.
Yeah.
So.
I have enough to say that I've already said everything that there is to say about them, so I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah.
So on that note, everybody, that's my entire Xbox One Series X game collection. If you, Red Hood, want to go back and rewatch and see what you missed earlier, feel free to do so. Obviously, every stream remains public on the channel, and it doesn't get hidden from anyone unless YouTube decides to block it in certain countries or something, which is just what they do. But on that note, Nord, what are you going to be doing now? Well, it's still tomorrow for you, but it's today for me. So I'm coming to you, Nord, from the future right now.
Yeah, well, going to bed is primarily the first thing, yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm probably just going to play a couple of games and pass time because I woke up like right before we went live, so I'm going to be up.
And then, of course, you're going to be doing the stream tomorrow, too. So.
Yeah, in the afternoon, which I'll probably take a nap before that, but still.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm not going to stream tonight. I'll probably try to do a small stream like after Breaking Rocks tomorrow. That's what I'm currently thinking at the moment here. But
yeah,
I guess Joshy died.
He couldn't hang on any longer.
Well, it looks like he's still in the thing, so yeah, he is. So either way, you can find Joshy on Twitter as at Joshy064. You can find me as that Drew on Twitter, Desert Nord26 on Twitter as well. You can find me on Twitch as DrewDat Underground Gaming, much like on this channel here on YouTube. Tomorrow, Breaking Rocks, we'll be talking about Mr. T and the FBI situation. And that's basically the whole stream at that point, unless we think of something else between now and then.
Yeah, there'll be plenty to talk about.
Yeah, over on the DrewDat Underground channel on YouTube tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll be on and off of Twitch regularly like I always do, and then porting a bunch of that stuff over to YouTube over time as well like I always do. And yeah, thank you so much for doing this, Nord. I know it took a terribly long fucking time, but I figured that it would because it's like hundreds upon hundreds of games.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I gotta clean this shit up first. Everything's on the floor now. I gotta reorganize my games before I do anything else, actually. But still, thank you, Red Hood, for being here and coming back. Thank you to the gentleman that popped into the stream to join us. That was really funny and great content, and I hope that those guys jump in and make us laugh again at some point in the near future. Right, Nord?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were fun.
I just wish I could remember their names.
Oh, Raz and the other guy.
Raz and whatever the other guy was. So I don't know if they're on Twitter, so I can't tell you to go follow them or anything like that, but they are on Xbox Live, so but what you do with that information is your business, folks. But until then, we'll see you guys in well, now since it's after midnight my time, today at 2 p.m. for Breaking Rocks. So why am I looking at my other screen? The camera's right there. It's after midnight. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Although after I clean up, I should actually make some breakfast. Anyway, I'll see you guys at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for Breaking Rocks, where we try not to get canceled, but talk about something that's probably going to get us canceled.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest about how I see things. Yep. Thank you, Red Hood. We'll see you then. Take care. And enjoy the things that dangle, Red Hood, like we were talking about earlier. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
See you guys.